Well, that was fast. Hi. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. It's fun to go back to these alpha male 2.0 topics because it's like hanging out with an old friend. This is how I'm going to do a whole deep dive on this today, and I haven't talked about this in a long time. How to date multiple women all at once, which is a hallmark, a core of the alpha male 2.0 philosophy. It has been a core part of my life for going on to 17 years now. And I'm going to give you specific information on exactly how this works and how you can do this with any woman in the world. As usual, we are live, so I'm going to chill out and wait until people file in. And it's going to be interesting because we did not promote this at all, the Sovereign CEO audience. So it's going to be interesting to see what the attendance will be for this webinar. Because I think I just forgot to announce it to the other audience. Because usually what I do with these Alpha 2.0 topics is I'll give them like one email and say, hey, if you're interested, we're talking about this. If you're not, then don't go there. Pretty sure we did that. Or we normally do that, but I didn't do that this time. I didn't know how to encapsulate that information. Hey, Sovereign CEO audience, some of you are women and some of you are married men. Would you like to learn how to date multiple women and have sex all in it? And they didn't know how to encapsulate that. So be interesting to see, like I said, the attendance for this. So I'll wait a few minutes before we get started. Hang on. As you are filing in, if some of you could, or if a few of you, or if one of you could put a number 2 in the chat, which indicates you can both see me and hear me. That would be great. And my audio is now improved since the last few times I'm doing this because I'm actually using my lav mic, which I wasn't using for a while because I don't know why. I just didn't care. I don't know. All right, hang on. What should we talk about while we wait? This is woman stuff. Good. I see some 2s. Awesome. Thank you. Had an interesting experience the other day. We're talking about women, right? So I was at the mall and running. Why was I at the mall? I had a specific reason to be at the mall. Oh, I had to figure out some of my phone stuff here in Dubai. I'm back in Dubai. By the way, yes, I have changed locations yet again. Since returning home to Dubai about 2 weeks ago, I have had 3 different locations. I've changed locations twice. I've had 3 different places to sleep. It's not irritating at all. It's great. Thank God I am moving into my apartment Thursday. Thank God. There are a few things that could prevent that, but it looks like we're good to go. I see 2s. Awesome. So anyway, where was I? So when you get to the point, this is going to sound like bragging, but this is just objectively true. When you get to the point where you've been with a lot of women and a lot of attractive women, you lose the experience that normal men have, where normal guys will walk around in the city or go to a concert or go to the mall and they'll see a super hot babe and they'll say, oh my God, she is so hot. That chick is so hot. You lose that when you're at my experience level because you've already done it all. So there's no woman that walks across you, go, oh my God, she is so hot. Andrew Tate's talked about this. He's right. If you see it, when you're at my experience level, when you see an attractive woman or really hot, you go, yeah, I've done that many times. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, she's hot, but it's fine. However, when you have a weird ass fetish like I do, so I like really tiny, tiny women, really short, tiny, almost midget, not quite midget, but almost. Am I allowed to say midget? I don't monetize my channels. I guess I can. What's politically correct? Little people. Okay. So almost little people. Almost. We're talking like 5'1", 5'0", 4'11". That is so hot. I don't know why I like it. You never know why you like what you like, but I do. So there was this woman at the mall just walking down the thing, and she was European and Western European by her features, I would imagine. And she's like, she's probably about 30, but a good 30. Most women who are 30 are still a good 30 these days. 30 is looking pretty good. So anyway, she was like, God damn. She wasn't 5'0" or 5'1" or even 4'11", because I know what that is. I've been with that a few times. She's like 4'9", maybe. It's hard to tell, but she's short as fuck. And usually these really short girls are like these Filipinos, these Asian chicks, right? She's like a whitey. And she's not fat, because a lot of times when Western women are that short, they get fat. And men too. When they get really short, they Danny DeVito and they Okay, it's just how it works, just the physics and how it's not enough go. And so I still see twos. Thank you. That's awesome. So she's trim, skinny, but with a big ass and big boobs, exactly what daddy likes. And her face is cute. She wasn't blonde, or else she would have been perfect. Brown hair. But I'm like, and I just couldn't take my eyes off her. It was only saw her for a few, maybe, 20 seconds. But I'm like, God damn. And it's funny because I haven't had that experience in years. Because like I said. So I guess when you have a weird fetish that is unusual and you see this certain template, then you go, ooh, even if you've been around. Because I've been with women who are, one in particular, remembering, who was 4'11". Oof. It's good stuff. I joke around Pink Firefly. Pink Firefly's 5'4", which is shortish. And she's like, I wish I was taller. I'm like, I wish you were shorter. I wish you were 4'11". That'd be so hot. I should like chop your feet off or something. Pink Firefly's back in the United States, and she's working with someone. She's partnering with someone in a project she's working on. And she's like, you would love this girl. She's like 29, and she's like 5'0". I'm like, hell yeah. So, we all like what we like, right? I am 6'6". Oh, you're like that too? And you're 6'6"? Yeah, that's awesome. Isn't that funny? I've seen that. I've seen really tall guys. You see that with like football players. These big, giant, tall motherfuckers. These little, tiny girls. Oh, I'm getting texts. So I have fully converted now to my iPhone 14 Pro Max. So all my WhatsApps, all my texting, all my stuff's finally on one phone. It's awesome. Took a few weeks of transition, but I'm learning. And what's cool is Rocket Man is being very inappropriate about blowjobs. They can give you a blowjob and standing front. Yeah, okay. Perfect height. Not quite that short. Oh, I mean, if you're 6'6", okay. If you're 6'6" and she's 4'11", and she can give you a blowjob at the perfect, okay, I guess that would make sense, right? How are we doing on attendance here? Oh, we're doing okay. We're doing all right. All right. We're doing not bad. All right. It's interesting. It's interesting to see what percentage of people on these live streams are in which audience. Because this will be a good experiment to see how many people are live streaming this, or people who are actually on the live stream. It usually takes about 15 minutes for the full attendance, but yeah. Did you consider doing a Tom Torero stop? No, I was in a rush. I'm a man on a mission these days. I got so much shit to do. No, I hated going to the mall. I had to go to the mall for a certain thing I do with my phone plan. And so I was like, go to the mall, get back to work. So no. To do day game on the fly, you need time. That's something I don't have right now. And I won't have it for another month or two, which is fine. It's okay. I'm back home in Dubai. I have plenty of friends here. I'm fine. It's all right. I was talking to Pink Firefly in terms of dating multiple women and having non-monogamous relationships. We just talked to her a few hours ago. She's like, I miss you. I said, I miss you too. I said, I miss fucking you. And she goes, I know. She goes, at least you're getting laid. I'm not getting laid here in America. I said, well, sweetheart, I told her this when we were apart for a year. If you're, darling, sweetie, you can, if you're going crazy, you have the option to. She's like, nope. I said, okay, I guess you got to wait till November when I see you then. All right, fine. Have I ever crossed paths with Johnny Soporno? I have not. And he is definitely a kindred spirit. Is he still active? Is he still doing stuff? I don't think he is he? So, yeah. Could you remind us of your current primary dating strategy? Is it regular online dating or sugar daddy or other? Right now, to be honest, I don't have a dating strategy because I'm full up on women. I'm good. I don't need new women. I haven't pursued any new women for any reason in a long time, a year and a half, 2 years. So, and when I do it, yes, it is a combination of online dating or sugar, but I don't need to, and I probably won't need to for a long time. I'm trying to actually reduce the number of women. I'm trying to simplify my life here. Reduce. I would just like to have 2 women in each of my flags, plus Pink Firefly, and I'm good. I'm good there. It's easier to manage. How likely is an Alpha 2.0 get falsely accused compared to an Alpha 1.0? Those two things are not factors. It depends on your game. There's a blog article I did on 5 ways to avoid an FRA, a false accusation. 5 things. Go read that article. I do the statistical analysis of all the people who are accused falsely And they all do one of these 5 things. You just don't do those 5 things. Like, don't have sex with women when they're drunk. Be super nice the next day. Don't bang chicks, random girls at some party when you're in college. Just there's 5 things you don't do and you'll be fine. I've never had a problem. But I don't drink and all that stuff. A bit behind the scenes. Oh, Johnny Soporno, but he's mostly retired. I think it would be awesome to interview him. Yeah, it'd be fun. I would do that. I would interview Johnny Soporno. Okay, should we get started? We've been talking 10 minutes. We got to roll, baby. Okay, attendance is a little lower, but again, usually I wait 15 to 20 minutes. I'm super curious about this. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. Let me get a drink of water, and then let's start with the training, shall we? It's so cool. I'm looking out. They have a big, giant, what do you call it, Ferris wheel here in Dubai. It's one of the biggest in the world. I think it is the biggest in the world. It's called Al Ain, and it lights up. I'm looking right at it over the water. It's awesome. I got a really cool view right here. Okay. Let's see. Let's change the configuration here. Hang on. How do I do that when my screen is zoomed in? God damn it. Hang on a moment. There it is. Okay. Should we do this? I don't think I like this. I think I like the other one. This is like that. Yeah, I think I want to do this. What's more important, the message or the messenger? It's one of those classic problems. I think I'm going to do this. Yeah, I mean, I could try this. I go back and forth. Should we do that? I'm super sexy, and I know you guys want to see my sexy face. I understand that, but no, I'm going to do this. I think that's more important. All right. I will do a full Q&A at the end, and I will go as long as we need to because I know I have been avoiding you guys in terms of having woman questions. I know you have a lot of them, so I will do that at the end. Any woman question germane to Alpha Male 2.0. Today, we're going to talk about something, and if you're asking questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will rewind. Cool? All right. Dating multiple women all at the same time. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly how this works. There's an exact procedure on how to do this. Most people are unaware that this is even a possibility, but you can, and I'm going to show you right now. And if you just do what we're going to talk about over the next maybe 20 minutes, it'll change your life. And many of you have already done this. If you're new to this material, you're going to be shocked. And you're going to be like, holy shit, I didn't know this was an option, because it is. So the objective here is very specific. We're talking about how to date. And when I say date a woman, I mean with sex, because sometimes people say, well, dating, does that mean you're having sex? Yes, you're having sex with 2 or more women at the same time. You're dating girl A and girl B concurrently. You're dating at the same time and having sex, not literally at the same time. You get my point. And you're not cheating. These women are all aware, either implicitly or directly aware, overtly aware, that you are having sex or seeing other women. They know what's going on, okay? And they see you anyway. They continue to see you anyway. And they do it in a way where it's low drama, so low conflict, few complaints, and low jealousy. 90% of the time. Every once in a while you get a jealous girl who has jealousy issues. Those are the exceptions to the rule. Now, to be clear, I said here, low drama, few complaints, low jealousy. Not zero drama, but a lot lower than monogamous men get. Finding a zero drama woman is a fantasy. Okay, sorry. It's like finding a man who never wants to have sex. That's a fantasy. That's not going to happen. But low drama, few complaints. You'll get some, especially if they're MLTRs. We'll talk about this. You'll get a few, but few. And low jealousy, not zero jealousy. Even my own wife, who's been with me almost a decade, doesn't love what I'm doing, but she's cool with it. Make sense? And to do this for many years. There are some pickup artisty guys, red pillish guys, who will do things like this for a few weeks. They'll get 2 or 3 women to date them for a few weeks or a month or 2, and then there's one go, oh, fuck you, and they leave. And they can't sustain anything more than about a month or 2. I've talked to a lot of these guys. We're talking here about how to do this for years and years and years and years and years and years. I have dated women for years and years and years. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. I am still semi-regularly having sex with women. I started in this process over 10 years ago, including recently. So years and years. multi-year long relationships or longer. Okay. This system works on normal women. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you'll find people who talk about this, but they only talk about this in terms of, well, the way you do it is you screen for women who are polyamorous. Okay, no. 98% of the women I've done this with were not polyamorous, had no experience in non-monogamous relationships. I was the first man they'd ever done this with, 98%. So this system is how to take normal, everyday girl next door girls and bring them into this model. I've done it successfully for a long, long time. A lot of women will talk about that. We're talking about women of all ages. Excuse me. I've done this with 18, 19-year-old girls, women in their 20s, women in their 30s, women in their 40s, and 2 in their 50s. Because some people will say, well, yeah, young, dumb girls will do this, but no woman over 30 would ever agree to, my wife is 43 last time I checked. So yeah, I've done this all, and she's not the only one in her 40s I've done this with. To be clear, it is a little more difficult or more work to do this with women who are over the age of 33. That is true, but you can still do it. I've been with many, many, many women over the age of 33 on these models. All races. I've done this with women of all races, not all races, but almost all the races. White girls, American girls, European girls, or girls or women, whatever term you like better, because again, we're talking about all ages. European, Russian, Eastern European, certainly Latina, all over South American women, mixed women, Asian women, lots of Asian girls, mixed women. I've never been with a 100% African American woman. I have been with half black women, and I was with a 100% woman who was dark skinned, but she was Caribbean, which is very different than African women. They have a whole different look. So we're talking about across the gamut here, okay? All intelligence levels. I say that because occasionally you'll get guys say, well, really dumb girls would do this, but no intelligent woman would do this. We're talking women who have done this, who have high IQs, women who are college degrees, women who have been to elite Ivy League schools, women in med schools, doctors, architects, attorneys, all of which I have done under these models. All regions of the world with a few exceptions. So let's talk about that really quick. This works in anywhere in the Western world. So let's go through the whole world. All of North America, including Mexico. All of South America, absolutely. All of Europe, including Eastern Europe. Some countries in Eastern Europe are a little more traditional, harder, but you can do them. I have guys in Russia doing this, so that. Most parts of Asia, although some parts are difficult. So India, this would be difficult. Taiwan, this is a little difficult, where it's a little more traditional. But Southeast Asia, certain regions of China, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, yes. Certainly Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, yes. India, probably not. India is difficult. And then parts of the Middle East that are not Dubai. So the first world, Middle East, yes. This is Dubai. I mean, people do this here. Yeah. Africa, I have mixed messages on. I have a few people in Africa who've tried this, and they have done some of this. So most of the world, this works. We're not talking about just the United States. And we're talking about without paying them. Because some guys say, well, if you pay them, sugar daddy game. No. As I've said many times, I've been doing this for 16 years. I've been sugar daddy gaming for about the last 4. Okay? So we're not talking here about paying women. I've done this for over a decade without giving any woman a penny of money. Okay? Including my wife, although she's my wife. She benefits financially because she's my wife. So we're not talking about sugar daddy game. Sugar daddy game can be an element of this if you wish, but it's not part of this discussion. If you guys want to discuss sugar daddy stuff in the Q&A, we can, but we're not talking about sugar daddy game here. We're not. Although you can integrate sugar daddy into this if you want, you older guys with more money, but it's not part of the system. So why should you listen to me? I have done this for 16 years consistently. And when I mean consistently 16 years. For the last 16 years, I have not been monogamous for even 10 seconds. No monogamy. Now that means real monogamy or de facto monogamy. De facto monogamy means you're dating multiple women and at the moment you've got one, but you don't have other girls. You're only fucking one. That's monogamy. It's not promised monogamy. It is what we call de facto monogamy. You are monogamous if you're only having sex with one girl. It doesn't matter if you promised her or not. You are de facto monogamous. I have never done this in 16 years. 100% every day of my life in the last 16 years, there has been at least 2 women, usually way more than 2. Rarely is it 2. I can't remember when it was just 2, 3, 4, 5 or more. Okay. Consistently for 16 years. Also for 16 years, I have had 0 dry spells. This is very common in the pickup artist world, red pill world. We've got young guys, single guys who are dating and banging tricks. They will regularly complain about, oh man, it's been 3 months. I haven't had sex with anybody. This is bullshit. I have not had this problem. It's been 6 months. I haven't had sex because I got busy with work or because I got complacent or I got into this new video game. So I haven't had any sex. In the last 16 years, true statistic from my life, I have only gone without sex 31 days, and that's only happened twice. 31 days, and it's only happened 2 times. Once was in 2009 when I lived in Portland, Oregon. There was a huge snowstorm, and it paralyzed the entire city. Everyone was trapped in their homes for like a week. I couldn't leave my house for a week unless you had a big fucking, Humvee or something. And then it was Christmas. So that murdered that month. Okay. That. And then again in 2011, this is a long fucking time ago, where it was about 30 days and I was on a big trip all through Asia and I was visiting many cities and I just didn't bother to integrate it. And that was it. Twice have I gone without sex. I have sex 2 to 3 times a week, every week, period, end of story. No matter where I am or what I'm doing. Or if I'm married or not, or have a serious relationship or not, have a girl, it doesn't matter. I have FBs, MLTRs, OLTR. We'll talk about that. Okay. I have done this. Okay, let me go back up before I get to that. I cannot think of another man who can say this. I'm putting it this way. I'm one of the few men on planet Earth who can say this. Even guys in the red pillish world or the non-monogamous world or the pickup artist world or the seducer world, whatever you want to call it, all these different subsets. Can you name one other guy? Maybe you might name one. Can you name 2 or 3 other guys who could say this? Because what most guys do is they bang chicks for a while. These young guys, I'm going to bang chicks. They bang chicks for a while. Then they get a girlfriend and then they get monogamous because they get one-itis. Or then they hit 35 and they do a Neil Strauss or a Paul Janka and they get married and they have kids and they turn into betas. And, okay, this is nothing against those guys, but that's just the standard model. I've been walking my talk for 16 years and I will never stop. And I said 16 years ago, and people didn't believe me when I said it, I will never be monogamous. And I had a lot of naysayers when I was less famous, but I was on like the forums and things like this. People on my blogs and stuff. Oh, Black Dragon. That was my name back then. Black Dragon. Yeah, he'll find someone and he'll get monogamous. You just wait, everybody. Don't worry. He'll get monogamous. He says he won't. 16 years. I walk my talk. Very few men on earth can do this or have done this. Okay. Let's see. So, what else? Let's keep going here. I have done this with dozens of women. It's not like I've done this with 2 or 3 girls. Dozens. Now, the real term is scores of women. The problem is most people don't know what scores means because we live in a collapsing Western world of people getting stupid. Scores means multiples of 20. I've done this with scores of women. Scores. Huge amount of women over the last 16 years. Multi-long relationships. Multi-long term. Okay? Multi-year long relationships. We're not talking about women I saw for 2 or 3 months and never saw again. No, these were multi-year long relationships. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. And then inconsistently 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, and more. Okay? This is a lifestyle for me. This is one of the reasons I don't talk about this a lot, because this is just normal for me now. I've been living this life for 16 years. So to me, this is just the norm. And I keep forgetting, when you live a certain lifestyle, you forget that other people don't do this. Just because to me, this is normal, and it's normal to my wife, and it's normal to all my FBs, and it's just normal. My family knows all about this, and all that stuff. As I mentioned earlier, all ages, races, and types of women. From 18-year-olds to women in their mid-50s. So the youngest I've been with is 18. The oldest woman I've done this with was years ago, 55. I was 38 or 39 at the time. She was an older woman. She was very physically fit. She was very cute. 55. So let's see. 18, 19-year-old girls, women in their 20s, women in their 30s, women in their 40s, and 2 in their 50s. Okay? All right. Let's see here. I have taught thousands of men how to do this, and it's actually hundreds of thousands. It could be millions, but I can't verify that number. It could very easily be millions. Millions of men have been exposed to this material, but I know hundreds of thousands have fallen through in these things. A lot of you have. And I've been teaching this professionally, or at least part-time or full-time, for the last 13 years. Since 2009. This is a true statement. And I challenge you because I've looked. I am the only person in the entire world who teaches a specific system for this. There is no one else that I've seen, and I've looked, who teaches a specific system on how to do this. And if you think I'm wrong, let me know, because I would like to do it. Now, there are other guys who talk about non-monogamy. Okay, that does happen. But like the guy who wrote the Sex at Dawn book, but they purposely don't tell you what they're doing. They don't want to tell you. And if they're asked, so are you non-monogamous or wife? They go, oh, I don't talk about that. That's my personal life. Whereas I have my wife on videos talking about this, right? You've seen her many, many times. Very open about this. And it's a specific system where you can replicate it if you want. There is no one else in the entire world who teaches this specific type of system, this specific type of material. Not one. I am the only person you can learn this from. And if you think I'm wrong, let me know, because I would like to do it. I'm not talking about guys who talk about dating multiple women. There are the guys who talk about it. I'm talking about guys who say, here is a step-by-step system that we have been testing over about a 20-year period of time, 16 years, that we know for a fact work, and thousands of them have done it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, this is the only place in the entire world you can learn how to do this. When I talk about, niching your business, talk about niched. And I am shocked, and I'm also a little sad that I am the only person talking about this. There should be 20, 30, 40, 50 other guys talking about this, and there aren't, because everyone's scared about what their mom will think and shit like that. Christ. All right. Let's see here. So let's get into tactics and how this works. Step 1, there's 3 steps to this, and there's more than 3 steps. So I'm trying to encapsulate this into something that you can understand without getting into detail about this stuff. There are 3 relationship types. Now, here's the thing. If you just follow what I discuss in the next few minutes, the 3 relationship types, and that's all you do, it'll change your life. You can actually make this work if all you do is split out these 3 types. What men do incorrectly when they try to do this on their own, I'm going to date several women at once. I'm going to have several girlfriends. I'm going to have several whatever. They treat all the women the same. And they go, okay, these are all my girlfriends, or these are all, fuck buddies, or these are all, and they put the same rule systems on all of them. And they like other girls, like the certain girls they really like, certain girls they don't, and they treat them all the same. They have all these problems. Like, for example, guys will say, so I have this FB, right? I have an FB, right? I have this fuck buddy, friend with benefits, right? So I took her out to a movie and we went out to dinner and then she gave me all this drama. What the fuck? Yeah. Why did you take a friend with benefits out to a movie and buy her dinner? That's not friend with benefits stuff. So what you need, and so you're sending incorrect signals and she got confused, which is your fault. Okay. So what you've got to understand is that you have to categorize these women in different categories in terms of the relationships that you have. Make sense? And so once you nail down these 3 categories, you will find that all kinds of problems stop. Okay, need a drink of water. Hang on. Let me check the technology here. Are we still good here? Let's see. Emmanuel, you seem to be complaining a lot. So why don't you offer like some constructive advice instead of just complaining? Cool? Is that cool? Okay. All right. So let's go through the 3 relationship types. All right. FB, friend with benefits. This is my favorite one because they take the least amount of time and they're the easiest. This is friend with benefits or fuck buddy. Whatever, depending on how vulgar you are. So this is, what is an FB? This is a very distinct type of category. This is a friend. This is a female friend you have sex with. She is your friend. You are not dating this woman. And you treat her accordingly. You treat her like a friend. So do you treat a friend nicely? Yes. You don't treat her like shit. But you don't treat her like a girlfriend. You don't treat her like someone you're in love with. You don't treat her like someone you want to marry. She's your friend who you have sex with. That's the easy way to say this. Make sense? Okay. This is not someone you're dating. So you don't go on dates with an FB because that's not how you feel about them. That's not the nature of the relationship. This is not someone you have feelings for beyond friendship. If you did, then she would be an MLTR or an OLTR. So if you just like her as a friend, the sexual chemistry is good. She's fun to hang out with. She's funny. She's hot. But you don't like want to date this woman, and she doesn't want to date you. I know it's shocking to men. Women like to have FBs too, some of them. Men seem to have this thing, well, if she has sex with you, she'll start catching feelings. 100% of all women, as soon as they fuck a guy, will start catching. No. There are lots of women who love having male FBs. They love it, especially women who already have boyfriends. Okay. You're not going on dates because you're not dating her. You're treating her nicely. Again, you don't treat her like a whore. You don't treat her like a, like a bitch. You're not asshole to her, but you're not treating her like someone you're dating because you're not. You have to remain congruent to who she is. If you start taking her on dates, she's only an FB to you, you're sending conflicting signals, she's going to get pissed off, and it's going to be your fault. Okay? You are not spending the night with her. Well, Caleb, why not? I like to spend night with girls. Then spend night with girls you want to date. Don't spend night with friends with benefits. It sends the wrong set of signals. The next morning, she'll say, you want to go to breakfast? You'll be like, I got to go to work. And then she'll be like, well, fuck you. And now you have drama and problems. Make sense? So that's an FB. FBs. How many FBs can you have? As many as you want. I have many, 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 many all over the world. Before I left the United States, I had many, many, many United States. You can as many as your schedule can hold because they don't take a lot of time. So it's kind of up to you. There's no working maximum other than, women that you can, however many you can schedule in a week. There's a certain number of maximums for these levels. Okay. Next one is MLTR. That stands for multi-long-term relationship. That is not my term. That is a term that came out of the pickup artist world that I co-opted and tweaked a little bit and made it more clear and more specific. So what is an MLTR? This is very different than an FB. Very different. This is a woman you're dating and you have feelings for her. This is someone you really like. This is someone, there's some romantic feelings for her and vice versa. So you're dating and going on dates and things like that. However, she is not your girlfriend. Do you meet a woman, go on 2 dates and make her your girlfriend? Now, some of you fucking beta male dumbasses do that. Some of you needy guys do that because you have no game, you get one-itis and you're a pussy. I understand that. But in normal conditions, is that a smart thing to do? You just met a girl and you make her your girlfriend? No, you date, even if you're monogamous, if you're intelligent and rational, you date her for a while, hopefully for several months or weeks or months, and then you upgrade her to a girlfriend. That's the same system here, except it's an MLTR, it's non-monogamous. So you like her, you're dating her, you care about her, you are romantically attracted to her a lot. You have romantic feelings for her, and she does for you. But it's non-monogamous and non-exclusive, so you can have many of them. Okay, and she's not your girlfriend. She can't make the demands of you that a girlfriend can make. With me so far? If you get confused on this, let me know in the Q&A. I'll help. Yes, you can go on dates with an MLTR because she's not an FB. She's someone you're dating, so that's okay. Yes, she can spend the night. I've had MLTRs. Now, I don't have MLTRs today because I have an OLTR. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I had MLTRs where I would spend, literally for years I did this. I'd have one MLTR spend the night on Tuesday, one spend the night on Wednesday, one spend the night on Thursday. Different girls every day. I had one MLTR for many years. She would spend 2 nights. She was a high-end MLTR. She spent 2 nights. She would come over Tuesday, spend the night Tuesday night. I spend all day with her Wednesday, spend the night Wednesday night, and she would leave the next morning. Okay? Now, you can only see them once a week. I'll talk about that. Cool? All right. You do not travel or go on trips with an MLTR. You don't do that. You want drama from a woman you're dating who's not your girlfriend? Take her on a trip for a week. As soon as you pass 4 days, I've had many guys report this, and I've predicted, as soon as you pass 4 days, on day 5, she'll start throwing drama at you because you're stuck in the same hotel room with her. You'd be like, what the hell? Don't go on trips. That's girlfriendy stuff or high-end MLTR stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. Do not meet her friends or family. Why? That is a boyfriend behavior. That creates boyfriend expectations. Now, if you want her to be your girlfriend eventually, there's a model for that. But other than that, you don't do it. Because what does that send to her? Oh, he's meeting my mom and dad. That's boyfriendy shit. Your MLTR is not your girlfriend. We'll talk about girlfriends in a sec. Make sense? So there's limits to the things you can do. All right. How many MLTRs can you have? 3 is the working maximum. Why 3? It takes a long time. MLTRs take time. There's someone you're really dating. They take a thought process. They take time out of your week. You're going to be dating them, spend real time. It's not like she's in and out like an FB. So you really can't manage more than 3. I love these guys say, I want 5 MLTRs. Dude, you can't do that. You won't have time for them all. 5 women a week who you're dating, Not hooking up with, you're dating. Three is a working max. 3 is a lot. I had 3 maybe twice in my life, and it was a pain in the ass. It sucked. 1 or 2 is much easier. 1 MLTR and 2 FBs, 2 MLTRs and 2 FBs, something like that. 3 is a lot. You can do 3, but no more than 3. It's a working maximum. All right. Okay. Now, this is the difference between FB and OLTR, which we'll cover in a minute. MLTR is a unique scenario because FB and OLTR, which we'll talk about in a second, it's either on or off. She's an FB or not. They're not different types of FBs. She's an OLTR or not. She's not different types or levels to an OLTR. But MLTRs, there's a range. You can consider a scale from 1 to 10. Okay. So, for example, on that scale, you could have an MLTR. Let's say you have 2 MLTRs. You have one MLTR that's a scale 1 to 10, a 2. Another MLTR that's scale 1 to 10 is a 7. So you like her a lot better, but you do like your MLTRs at a 2. She's a lower end MLTR, but you still like her. An MLTR to 1 would be 1 notch above an FB. And an MLTR to 10 would be 1 notch below your girlfriend. So that would be called a high-end MLTR. An MLTR, your favorite one, and she's like at a 9 or a 10. And a few of the rules you could tweak, like you can start going on trips there a little bit. Maybe you can meet her friends, things like that. A high-end, you can only have one of those. High-end, but she's still not your girlfriend. Okay? You like her a lot, but she's not your girlfriend, at least not yet. Okay, that brings us to OLTR. Wow, now the attendance is good. Interesting. It's almost as good as if we did a Sovereign CEO live stream. That's fascinating. OLTR, the third type. Hang on. When I speak loudly, my voice can't handle it. Hang on. I don't know if that's me getting older. I don't know what that is. OLTR, open long-term relationship. This is my term that I invented. What is an OLTR? Well, an OLTR is your girlfriend. It is the non-monogamous alpha male 2.0 version of your girlfriend. This is your girlfriend. Okay? This is full-on 100% girlfriend. It is emotionally exclusive, but sexually open, unlike all the other relationship types. So that means you can have sex with other women, but you can't date other women or be romantically attracted emotionally to other women. That would be a violation of the OLTR. If that's not what you want, you may say, well, I don't want to do that. I want to date multiple girls. Then you would never have an OLTR. You just have MLTRs the rest of your life. And some of you guys should never have an OLTR. There's a percentage of you who should just have MLTRs the rest of your life, and that's fine. You can have a high-end MLTR and other MLTRs, and then you can do whatever you want. There's no restrictions. Because with an OLTR, there is some restrictions because it's emotionally exclusive. Now, you can hook up with women whenever you want. I do. I have an OLTR. I have sex with women whenever I want. Now, unlike an MLTR, you have made real commitments and promises to this woman because now you've agreed to some ground rules. Okay? Not very many, but some. Like you can't date other women. You can hook up with other women, but you can't date other women. Well, Caleb, if you're doing online dating, you have to meet her for a first date. That's accepted. That's okay because everyone understands that. You can meet her at a Starbucks and that's fine. And then when you start seeing her, there's no more dating. That's okay. Makes sense? You can have sex with other women as long as they're FBs only. No MLTRs allowed. Why? Because you're dating an MLTR. So if you have an OLTR, you can't have MLTRs. There's a big confusion with a lot of people about this. Well, I have an OLTR and I want an MLTR. No. If you have an OLTR, you have no MLTR. As a matter of fact, if you take an MLTR and upgrade her and turn her into OLTR, which is how OLTR works, we'll talk about it a little bit. If you have other MLTRs, you have to stop seeing them or downgrade them to FBs. Because you can't have MLTRs if you have an OLTR. That's why you got to be very careful about getting into an OLTR. It's a big shift. And you only do it if you really, really want to do it, not because she wants to do it. Right? The good news with OLTRs is now the restrictions on friends and family and crap like that, all that stuff, you can now meet her friends. You can now meet her parents. You can hang out with her friends. You can meet her brother. You can do that. You can see her more than once a week. There's a thing called the Cardinal Rules. In a second, where you only see women once a week. OLTRs can see as much as you want. You shouldn't see her every day unless you live with her. Okay. But those restrictions are now gone because she's your girlfriend. Okay. How many OLTRs can you have? Well, this should be self-explanatory based on what I just said. You can only have one. You can't have multiple OLTRs. Okay? You can't have multiple girlfriends. Caleb, I heard of a guy once who teaches how to have multiple girlfriends. If you look at what those guys are doing, they really have MLTRs. They're not they may call them girlfriends. They're really MLTRs. Well, you know, Hugh Hefner had 3 girlfriends. No, those were live-in FBs. He had one girlfriend. If you watch Hugh Hefner and study him, which I did, he had one girlfriend, one OLTR, and 2 live-in FBs. That's kind of what he did. He called them his girlfriends because he didn't have these terminologies. Okay. Is it possible to have multiple girlfriends? Yes. I live in Dubai. There are men who have 4 wives. Shoot me in the fucking head. Yes, it's possible. Well, again, we're talking about low drama relationships. If you have multiple girlfriends and they all know you're calling some other girl your girlfriend, bro, you're in for fucking drama like you've never seen. Do some research on polygamous marriages. It's nonstop drama with these people. All right. Now, there's one type of OLTR called the OLTR wife. That is an OLTR that you live with. She move in there and live with her full time. Okay. It is still called an OLTR wife, even if you are not legally married. Because guys say, well, that's not my wife. I didn't marry her. I didn't sign a document. It doesn't matter what you signed, and it doesn't matter if you fuck other girls. None of this matters. When you live with a woman full time, you are living the life of a married man. I live with Pink Firefly. Now, right now, I'm not. Right now, she's in the United States for a little bit. But on normal conditions, I live with my wife. So it doesn't matter what we've signed. It doesn't matter if I bang other women every week. It doesn't matter. I'm living the life of a married man. I'm not the living lifestyle of a bachelor dude. I mean, I am right this second. But you get my point. Makes sense? So she is a de facto wife. And so certain techniques that you used to employ, like soft nexting and things like that, aren't going to work because you live with her. So it shifts the entire dynamic when you live with a woman. Women you live with is off topic for this particular training. I'm just letting you know there's another type of OLTR. Okay. FB's allowed, but no MLTRs, like just like before. More restrictions on your behavior because you live with her. So you better think twice before moving in with a woman. I made Pink Firefly wait years to move in with me. And she wanted to move in really, not really fast, but a lot faster than years. And I said, nope, not ready. I have to make goddamn sure this is going to work and this is going to create drama and piss me off or arguments. Okay. Now, the good news is with an OLTR wife, why would you do this? You can have children. Okay. You can move with her. If you moved to another country, you can bring her with you, which is what I did when I moved to the United States. I brought my wife with me. Okay. That's the advantage. Why would you ever live with a woman? Well, maybe you want kids. Or maybe you want to move and have her come with you, things like that. Then that's why you would do this. Okay. For example, or you just want to be with somebody. I mean, I already have kids. So maybe it's something you want in your older years, whatever. That's the advantage. All right. So that's step 1, just those 3 categories. And again, if you just stop right now and just did those 3 categories, change your life. If you just made those adjustments in your dating life, immediate improvement. Okay. We're going into more detail though. So next thing is Cardinal Rules. Cardinal rules are a list of about 9 rules that you must follow for FBs and MLTRs and OLTR to a degree. Okay. Why do you follow these rules? It ensures maximum attraction at all times. The more she's attracted to you, the less drama she will give you, the less demands she will make. You need to call me every day and stop seeing the girls and make sure and women make those demands when they start dropping attraction. That's what that means. It's called betaization. I write about this in my books. Okay. Also, it improves. Well, I'm jumping ahead. You want a woman attracted to you. When a woman is not attracted to you anymore, she starts taking you for granted, starts bossing you around, starts saying no to sex, all the bad things that most men run into when they get monogamous girlfriends or wives eventually. Not day one, but eventually. It reduces the odds of drama and events, like I said. It lengthens the time of the relationship. So that's why a lot of these guys, a lot of these beta males or just normal guys, right? They'll date a woman for a few months and then she'll dump him because she gets bored. Well, she's attracted, she'll stay longer. Will she stay forever? No, we'll talk about that. But she says longer. It lengthens the relationship. Big one. It reduces the odds of her coming back if she leaves you, which she likely will if she's an FB or MLTR. OLTR, no. But if she's an MLTR or FB, she will likely eventually leave because women are biologically designed to leave men they're with. But because she leaves and she's still attracted, the odds of her coming back to you eventually go way up. I famously have a 94% return rate for every woman I've ever had sex with in my entire life more than twice. And that is a massive list of women over the past 16 years. 94% of women who see me sexually, when they leave, for whatever reason they leave, I found a boyfriend, or I found this guy, I'm going to get married, or I'm going to move away, or you pissed me off, or whatever. Okay. It doesn't matter why. Will eventually come back and have sex with me again. 94%. Okay. That's a true statistic from the past 16 years. Does she do it in 2 weeks? No, it might take several weeks. It might take 2 or 3 years. Depends on the woman, depends on her age. We can talk about that in the Q&A if you want. Okay. These are the cardinal rules. I'm not going to go through all of them and go into detail. That would take literally like 2 hours or longer to go through all these and how they work and why they work. I'll read them to you very quickly and you can think about it. I have some other YouTube videos on this. I have some books on this. I have something else I will talk about in a few minutes on this. So only see her once a week. If you see her all the time, traction drops. Don't initiate contact often. She should be contacting you far more than you contacting her. I love these guys who text their girls every day. And women go, oh my God. Always make her orgasm every time you have sex. Why? No other man does this. Ask women. Men get on top and go, pump, pumpity pump, come. They roll off. Women go, what about me? And they're like, ugh. And women hate that shit. If you make her come every time, ooh, that'll make her stick around. Don't lie. Lying is what beta males have to do. Are you fucking other girls? No. That's what a beta male has to do. They have to hide and lie, including alpha males who get one-itis. Never talk about the relationship. Usually it's men who bring up the relationship parameters first these days. So, do you fuck other guys? I mean, what do you think about if we stop? Shut the fuck up. Don't talk about the relationship, at least for 3 to 5 months. We'll talk about that. Never engage in boyfriend behaviors. So if it's Valentine's Day, you're busy. You're not going to take her out with her limousine and buy her flowers. What the fuck are you doing? Is that your boy? Is that your girlfriend? If she's an epi, why would you do that? No. Always be having sex with at least one other woman. Otherwise, you are de facto monogamous, and she can smell it on you. Women can smell it when they're the only woman in your life, in your sex life. And guess what she'll start to do? Drama and demands. Oh, good. I got him by the balls. I can start bossing him around, and he'll stay. And usually, why do women think that? Because they're right. It's how men work, right? Never go on trips. Talked about it earlier. Don't meet your family or friends. Talked about that, okay? Now, that's a very big topic. We could discuss that in the Q&A if you like. Okay, that's the cardinal rules. The 3 phases. Next state is the 3 phases. When you bring a woman into your sex life, when you start dating a new woman, you have to bring her through 3 distinct phases. Actually, 4. Well, the 3 main ones. Okay, and these phases have specific purposes because you can't just. Would this work with a modern day Western woman? You're going to first date and say, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to fuck a bunch of other girls besides you." And you'll be an FB, and I'm going to fuck these other girls called MLTRs, and you'll be one of 4, and I'm just being honest with you. Do you think that'll work? No. Okay, so you can't do that. You have to bring her slowly into this world. Okay, now, well, Kayla, what about Muslims who have 4 wives? If you want to move to Saudi Arabia, convert to Islam, and have 4 wives, go ahead, have fun. If you want to stay in the Western world, you got to do this. Okay? Here are the 3 phases. Phase 1 is called the EFA phase. EFA means early frame announcement. It is your frame that you announce to her verbally and mostly non-verbally on who you are and who you aren't. So if you're leaning forward on first dates and you're going, yeah, oh, you're so pretty. That's the EFA of a needy, thirsty guy who wants a girlfriend right now. Okay. If you're like Andrew Tate and you got your shirt off, you're like, yeah, and you're screaming and yelling, and yeah, I got all this money and fuck you. That's the EFA of an alpha male 1.0 player, right? Or you're running a bunch of game on her, you're doing a bunch of pickup artist shit, and you're like, you know, doing the Carlo escalation ladder on the first date. That's an EFA of a player. Okay. Now, if you have an EFA that I recommend, Alpha Male 2.0, it's called 85-15, where you're relaxed. Lean back, confident, smiling, have a good time. Chill, not talking about, not giving her any compliments, talking about sex a little bit, looking really relaxed, totally non-reactive. That's the EFA of an attractive guy who doesn't need her. And attraction goes up. Right? How long does the EFA phase last? 2 weeks. That's it. During 2 weeks. That's it. Real quick. You're telling her who you are verbally and non-verbally those first 2 weeks. You're training her on who you are and who you aren't. Next, we have the implicit phase. This is probably the most important phase. They're all important, but this is probably the most important one, the implicit phase. This one goes for 3 to 5 months or more, ideally more, but a minimum 3 months. Most guys around 4 to 5 months, sometimes longer than that. This is where you are going to imply but not say that you are having sex with other women and you're seeing other girls. You're not going to say, I'm fucking other girls besides you, Susie. Again, she'll say, fuck you, and she'll leave. That doesn't work. Instead, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about the relationship, one of the cardinal rules, but you imply that you are. You're busy a lot. Maybe when she comes over to your apartment, she sees an earring on the counter that isn't hers. Whose is this? Evidence, clues, okay? And again, your EFA is announcing to her, yeah, I'm an in-demand guy. Yeah, but you're not going to talk about the relationship. Yeah, you're not going to do that. If she asks, so what is this to you? What am I to you? Where is this going? You don't discuss that. There's several different ways you can dodge the topic or say, look, this is too soon. You don't discuss the fucking relationship. And you go back to implying what you're doing. Women are very smart about this. They will immediately know what's going on. Men are dumb. Men have to have things spelled out. Joe, this girl is fucking other women. Oh, she is? That's why it's so common for monogamous marriages. When the woman is cheating and the guy finds out, he's shocked. Like, what? Men have no idea because they're stupid and they don't see this stuff. They have low intuition. Whereas if a woman finds out her husband is cheating, she's like, I knew it. She already knew. She's like, something's up. And then she finds out, well, yeah, she's pissed, but she's not surprised. Women have great intuition about stuff. They know exactly what you're doing without you saying it. Okay. Then you go to phase 3. Now, phase 3 is when she puts her little foot down and she says, what is this to you? And she's like, look, I don't want to talk about that. And it's been several months. She's like, look, this is bullshit. We need to talk about this. I don't want to waste my time. Blah, 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 blah. And you go, okay. And it's been at least 3 months or longer. Now, if she does this in 2 weeks, you have a stage 5 clinger. You got someone who's too jealous. You got an over 33 woman who's looking for a husband. Okay, different. But if it's been at least 3 months and you've been doing the EFA phase and the implicit phase, you're all good. Then it's time for the talk. And you say, great. You know what? Susie? We should talk about that. Let's talk about that Friday night. We should discuss this. And she'll say, good. Finally, I can figure out what the fuck's going on with this guy. Great. Even though she already knows. Hang on. And during the talk, you actually verbalize to her, I am not a monogamous man. You're wonderful. I think you're amazing. I love you if you do love her. If you don't, you say, I think about you all the time. I look forward to seeing you. You're fantastic. I'm not a monogamous guy. There will always be other women. But sweetheart, don't worry. Before you scream and yell, darling, I will wear condoms. I will get STD tests. No one will know. I'll keep it discreet. Because that's the thing she's going to say. You're going to get a disease. You're going to fall in love. My mom will find out. You say these things really fast. Then it preempts her objections. Okay. And then you go back to, you're wonderful. You're amazing. But hey, if this is a deal breaker for you, I understand. I won't like it, but I understand and I'll let you go. And she has never heard that from any man in her entire life. Every man she has ever dated, beta males and alpha male 1.0s, are like, don't go, please don't leave. Oh my God. You're saying the opposite. I want you to stay, but this is the deal breaker. I understand. Now she can't yell at you. She'll be like, oh shit, I guess I have to make a decision. So what she'll do, the talk is only 1 to 4 days. What she will generally do is she will do what all women do in these scenarios. She will leave, she will cry, and she will leave, and she will go talk to the women she gets advice from. Usually a female friend or a female coworker or her mom or her sister. All of whom probably have fucked up, horrible relationships. Women are really bad at this. They ask relationship advice of women who have horrible relationships. Anyway, that's what women do. And they'll say, he wants to fuck with the girls. And some women will say, wow, fuck him. I would never do that. I'm a feminist. Or what often happens today is someone go, well, is he going to let you fuck other men? And the answer is yes, because you said that in the talk. If she goes, well, can I fuck other guys? You say, yeah, if you really want to. Sure, of course. And she'll go, oh. So these other women will ask this, well, is he allowed to fuck? Are you allowed to fuck? And they're like, well, yeah, he said I could. And they go, oh, well, it sounds like he's being honest. And it sounds like he's being a good guy about this. And it sucks. And it would make me jealous too. But isn't that what we want guys to be as John? And so she might get a lot of reinforcement. I mean, does he treat you like shit? No, he treats you really nice. I mean, is the sex good? Oh, the sex amazing. He makes it come every time. You see how this all ties together? So what will happen, provided you did the EFA phase and the implicit phase correctly, and you followed all the cardinal rules, your odds of success for the talk are about 85%. And what she'll do after 4 days is she'll circle back to you And then she will say, okay, fine. If you do this, then here, you need to make sure you wear condoms. You won. You're in. She now agreed to it. And then you just negotiate the rules. Okay. Now here's a bonus phase. It says 3 phases. There actually is 4. Once you go past the talk, she enters into phase 4, which is the easiest phase by far. It's called Queen of the Hill phase. And this is indefinitely after the talk. This is where she wants to, she knows you're seeing other girls, but all those other, this is how she thinks. This is how women think. You're seeing other women, but all the other women, they're sluts and they're hoes and they're whores and they're dumb. I'm the smart one and I'm the one he likes the best. And so she will try to be the queen of the hill, the most important girl, your number 1 girl. Now, if you do like her the best, great. If you don't, it's something you have to manage. Make sense? That's it. Those are the 3 phases. And then it works. I've done this dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times with hugely high success rates. And so have many of you. It works. As long as you do the cardinal rules, as long as you do the talk correctly, as long as you treat FBs like FBs, MLTRs, you got to do everything else right. Every stage builds on the next. So here's the thing how this works. The talk will work provided you did phase 1 and phase 2 correctly. If you fucked up phase 2 and phase 1 or didn't do phase 2 and phase 1 and then do the talk, it won't work. Guys try this all the time. So they tell their girlfriend, so I was thinking, what if I were to fuck somebody else? They acted like a monogamous boyfriend from day 1. That's their EFA. And now they throw this in their face and women go, fuck you. And they cry and they break up and never see them again. Right. That's how this works. This implements how women actually are designed mentally. The psychological structure of how women view relationships, this actually takes advantage of it instead of fights against it. Right. Now, I've shown this chart before. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. A little complicated. It would take several hours to go through this whole fucking thing. But you have lock-in, you have sex twice. Then you have the EFA phase, phase 1. You have to make a decision. Is she an FB or MLTR? Then you have phase 2, phase 3 for FBs. And then you have MLTR, phase 2, phase 3, Queen of the Hill, blah, blah, blah. If you really like an MLTR, and she's been with you many, 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 many months, post-talk, she's survived the talk, and you've seen her for 6 months or a year after that, and she's been awesome the whole time, no big arguments, no big drama, no big jealousy, and you love her and think she's great, and you want her to make her your girlfriend, then you upgrade her to OLTR. You have something called the OLTR talk. And the OLTR talk is all the negatives she will experience if she's with you long-term. I had one with Pink Firefly. I'm going to fuck up. Here are my negatives. I'm going to fuck other women the rest of my life. I'm a workaholic. I can't spend a lot of time with you. I'll give you an hour a day and I'm going back to work. You don't like it? Go date somebody else. I'm leaving the fucking collapsing United States because it's several years before I left. I'm getting the fuck out of the United States. And I'm leaving with or without you. So if you want to come with me, great. Otherwise, we're at the breakup. You'll stay here because I'm not staying in the United States. Fuck the United States. I'm not paying these taxes. Okay, I went through all these things, all these negatives. If she survives the OLTR talk, she's in. Now she upgraded to OLTR. You have to downgrade your other MLTRs. You just have FBs, and then you're good to go. Okay, and then you have phase 5, which is optional. If it's an you manage OLTR management, or maybe move in there, things like that. So that's kind of how this works. All right, real quick, and then we'll get to Q&A. How would you like me to show you how to do all this in step-by-step specific detail? This is something I have never, ever, ever, ever done before, and I'm shocked I've never done this. I was amazed a few months ago when I started working on this. I've never done this. I'm sure I've done this, and I haven't. I've never done this. I'm shocked. How to Date Many Women video course. This is a course that actually goes through every single step in great detail. Every cardinal rules, soft nexting, FB management, everything, fully on video with me. And I take you step by step through the entire process. So here's what you're going to get if you get this course. You're going to get 14 deep dive video lessons from me. Okay, $9.97 if I were to sell them by themselves. These are the video lessons, the 3 relationship types, key concepts. I talk about one-itis. I talk about NRE. I talk about all these other concepts. I talk about Disney. That's an adjective for describing certain women. I talk about all this stuff. I go into deep in the cardinal rules, more than I've done anywhere publicly. I go through deep into each phase, the EFA phase, the implicit phase, the talk, Queen of the Hill phase. I go deep into OLTRs. Deep. That's a big topic for all you guys. Soft nexting. Soft nexting is the #1 greatest weapon you have in your relationship arsenal. It takes an angry woman who's pissed at you and turns her into a sweetheart. It works like no other technique you could possibly use. I just was coaching with a guy the other day who just did this on one of his MLTRs. The first time he did it, he was terrified. He did it. He's like, oh my God, you're right. She was nice and sweet and apologized and was sucking my dick. I couldn't believe it. Before that, she was mad. I said, yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So exactly what I also address objections for it, all that stuff. Different scenarios, upgrading and downgrading. Upgrade an FB to an MLTR or an MLTR to an OLTR or an MLTR down to an FB. I talk about exactly how to do that because sometimes you'll have to do those things. Your roster, which I haven't really covered on this topic, building a roster and how to resurrect women and bringing women back, getting your 94% return rate. You probably won't get a 94% return rate. But if you got a 40% return rate, 50%, wouldn't that change your fucking life? When women leave me now, I don't say this. I think, I found someone. I'm sorry. You've been great. Okay. I think, okay, bye. I'll see you in a year and a half. And I'm right. Now, it may not be a year and a half. Maybe it's a year. Maybe it's 6 months. Maybe it's 3 years. Doesn't matter. I'm right. Changes your life. Managing your jealousy. Because you will be jealous because you're a man. You have all this obsolete biological wiring from your caveman that made sense 100,000 years ago. Doesn't make sense now. Go to deep dive on that because some guys get worried about this. Okay. So you get the video lessons, plus you get the Ultimate Open Relationships Manual, probably my third most popular book. I've written 9 books. 9 books? Yeah. So up to $1,000. This is the second longest book I have ever written. This was also the most difficult and most complex book I have ever written. This was the hardest book to write. I've written a lot of books. This is by far the hardest because it has the most amount of information in terms of technical how-to. It's over 300 pages long. It is the only, and I mean this 100%, is the only step-by-step manual on how to do this anywhere in the world. This is the only book of its kind. I threw it in free for this course. You just get the book. Right? I covered other topics we haven't covered here, like sexual techniques, how to make her come. That's a big question with guys. Guys are stupid about this. STD management, STD protection. How do you not get STDs? I just got my big test. I get tested for, let's see, 9 different STDs. Clean, boom. But I'm having sex with all these girls. Well, how is that possible? Yeah, it's called being an adult. Okay. FB management, a lot more. Okay. You get the PDF version, the Kindle version, and the EPUB version, all 3. Okay? So you get the book. You also get the unabridged audiobook. Okay. So I add that in there. That's in my voice. Let me go back up here. My voice, I think it's about 14 hours. That's about right. Unabridged in standard MP3 files with no DRM. They're just your MP3 files, so playable on any device. Okay. There's also a supplemental techniques audio. It's a supplemental podcast I made that goes with the book. You get that free with more techniques and more training on it. Okay. $97. Black Dragon relationship support. So this is something that I wasn't sure if I was going to include this, but I decided to include this. This is a document I wrote several years ago when I was going into the name Black Dragon on the Pickup Artist World. And it goes through, it profiles, I think, 9 different women I had as FBs or MLTRs for many years. And it was many years ago. And I'm like, well, this is outdated. I don't think anyone would care about this. But wait a second. This is when I was worse at this than I am today. And there was no sugar daddy stuff anywhere in that. It was before I did that stuff. So I'm like, you know what? They would find this valuable. I was worse at this than today. 0 sugar daddy. So it makes it more relatable. That's what you can accomplish. And there's some pretty awesome shit in there. And I talk about what I did right, what I did wrong. It's case studies you can learn from. Okay. Techniques for serious relationships. That's another mini PDF I included because a lot of guys want girlfriends. So I threw in some more stuff about OLTR management in there because that's a big topic for a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys over the age of 35. Do not have an OLTR unless you are 30. Let me say that again. Do not have an OLTR unless you are 30. You fucking morons. When you're in your 20s, you should not have a girlfriend. It's the dumbest thing on earth to do. Please, for the love of God, don't do this. 30 or over for OLTRs. If you're 29 or under, FBs, MLTRs. Please, please, please. All right. $1,400. Now, I'm going to say this one more time. And I mean this. I'm going to double down on this because this is the only thing I can say about this. This is the only topic I can say I can literally say this because I don't say this about anything else. You can learn 5 flags with other people. You can learn alpha male lifestyle stuff from other people. This is the only place on the entire internet where you can learn this information. Period. End of story. I am the only place you can find this stuff. Literally. And again, if I'm wrong, tell me. Give me the URL of a guy who teaches the exact structure on how to do this with any normal girl. I'm the only one in the world. I'm the only one in the world. If this kind of stuff made more money than the business stuff, I would just have an entire company built just around this, dating multiple girls. I wouldn't talk about testosterone, alpha male 2.0. So I would just do this because I'm the only guy in the world who does this. The problem is I can't charge a lot of money for this stuff. You'll pay more to build a business than you will how to date 3 girls, unfortunately. So that's the only reason I do it. $1,422 for all this stuff together. $297. That's it. And that's the cheapest it'll ever be. It's never going to be this cheap again, only till Friday night. After that, I will raise the price. It'll probably go to $397 or $497. I haven't decided. I'm going to raise the price Friday night. That's this Friday night. What is Friday night? Hang on. Where's my calendar? This is my other phone. See, the problem with using my iPhone is it's my webcam now, and I can't check my iPhone from the calendar. What's the date? Hang on a moment. Hang on. Please hold. October 6th, midnight EST, October 6th, that evening. That's your deadline if you want this. Okay. At this price. 42-day money-back guarantee. I know for a fact this stuff works, but if for some reason you're not happy, you get your money back. 42 days. Other guys offer 30 days. I'm giving you 42 because that's just how I roll. Store. I should get a better URL. This should be good enough. store.calebjones.com/date. That's the URL. Cool? Cool. $297 until Friday. What else want to say about this? We'll go to Q&A. I think that's it. I think I'm forgetting something. Yeah, that's it. This is the cheapest it'll ever be. And this is the only place in the entire world you can get this information. You can't get it anywhere else. I love saying that. It makes you feel good. And by the way, I'm going to say this one more time before I get... Go ahead and, if you have Q&A, those of you live on the call, go ahead and put it in chat, your questions, and I will answer your questions. I should not be the only one talking about this. I know certain people in certain industries, including the dating advice industry and other industries, who are doing kind of what I'm doing. But they won't talk about it because my wife will get mad at me, or my mom won't like it, or I won't make my grandma proud of me because they're all pussies. I'm not going to say names. Some of these guys are very nice. I like some of these guys, but they're pussies. I'm not a pussy. I will tell you exactly what I'm doing. I always will. That's why I'm the only guy talking about this. No one else has the balls who actually is doing this to talk about how to do this. Well, my girlfriend might get mad at me. Then you get a new girlfriend. And by the way, if she gets pissed about this, she got the wrong girlfriend. Pink Firefly is awesome. She doesn't give a shit about this. She's on my videos talking about this. A little better, huh? All right. All right. Let's do Q&A. Put on my Scrooge McDuck glasses. Oh, it's so much better. All right. Ooh, you guys had a lot of questions. Hang on. Where are we here? How long are we going? Oh, we're good on time. That's great. Okay. Are you still trying to get a super FB? At the moment, that is suspended because of Pink Firefly's difficulty not adjusting to Dubai, but missing the United States. So at the moment, I have put that on hold. But it's still, it's a thought. It's still there. It's still there. It's still there. I haven't given up on it. It's just on pause. Have you noticed the difference in the outcome if you push the talk due to a woman pushing the issue? It depends on when she pushes it. If she pushes it, 6 weeks of the relationship, yes, your odds of success drop dramatically. Depends on not if she's pushing it, when she's pushing it. If she's pushing it well before 3 months, either A, you fucked up, most likely you fucked up, or you're dealing with someone who's very jealous, or a woman with a lot of ASD or something like that. So that's not good. No. You said to talk sex the first date, so wait 10 minutes and tell her I'll tear that white ass up with my big old black cock. Then she ghosts me. Why do you lie, man? I do not say I'm going to fuck you. I say talk about sexual topics, not you're going to fuck her. I'm very, very clear about that in my Get to Sex Fast manual, which is how to do first dates. I do not say, I'm going to fuck you, bitch. No. She'll say, fuck you. You talk about like her past sexual experience, what she likes sexually, or other people having sex. That's safe sexual talk. Like if she's pushing very hard for something, like I said earlier, yeah. If she's pushing hard earlier than 3 months, that's not the time to have a talk. That's not good. Have you ever experienced anything potentially dangerous with dating online? I have never had that. Like a setup to rob you or similar. I'm a bit paranoid about this being in North Mexico. Well, I don't spend a lot of time in North Mexico. I was just in Guadalajara for a month. No, I've never had a problem ever online dating, ever. And I've done it all over the world. But if you live in a high crime area, yeah, be careful. Just keep your eye open. Sure. What if you don't want to bang other women apart from your wife? That won't last. You will only want to bang your wife for the next 27 years? No, we're men. You know, eventually, I don't care if she's the perfect 10, you will eventually want to fuck someone else. And if you have a monogamous relationship, then what do you do? Oops. So that's a temporary scenario. I've been talking to a 21-year-old virgin Iraqi woman for a while, would glad to be monogamous with her. That'd be a terrible idea. She will start bugging you, and then she will eventually leave, and you'll be sad. Not a good idea. Alpha 2.0 seems good for after you already got kids, then got divorced, but I don't know how you would want to create a healthy family. There are hundreds of men in the Alpha Male 2.0 community who have kids with OLTR wives. Hundreds. And I raised my kids under these models. My kids are grown now, so I was doing this when they were young. So incorrect. Let's see. For a day game first interaction, what would you recommend about opening line? What should we talk about? You should not ask me day game questions. I am not a day game expert. You should go ask other folks. I am not. That is not my area. I can't. I'd only teach things I know that I have done and I've done well. Online dating, I can help you. Day game, I'm not the guy they ask. If everything in your life is your fault, and when she leaves the relationship and ends, how is it not your fault and self-blame that we didn't do everything right? Otherwise, she would have stayed. Women don't stay forever. You want me to give you the stats? What percentage of divorces? Okay. The real divorce rate is over 76%. It's well over 76% in the Western world today. 70 to 80% of all women are the ones who initiate a divorce. 3/4 of all girlfriend-boyfriend relationships end and are terminated by the woman. Women are biologically wired to leave you eventually. So the only question is not how do I keep her forever? That's a fantasy. That's a guy, alpha male 1.0, trad, right-wing Christian fantasy. Oh, she'll never leave if I'm a good, strong Christian. No. Instead is, let's make sure it takes a long time for her to leave, and let's make sure that when she leaves, she comes back for many, 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 many years. That's the better objective. You said the ultimate online dating manual to use premium versions of dating apps, but apps like Tinder, for example, have 3 premium versions. Which one should I use? I cannot answer that question. I have not been on Tinder for quite a while. Not the highest end one. Those are usually a ripoff. Probably the lowest end one or the mid-range one, not the highest end. The highest end ones are almost a ripoff. Use the low end one because the algorithm favors you if you're on any one of those. So the lower end or the middle one. What are good ratios for each of the following? Swipes to sex ratios, dates, mat rate, place rate. That is a complicated answer, and it's more complicated than a quick answer I could give you in a quick answer like this. It also is dependent upon your age, the age of the women you're swiping, and the city where you live. So there's a lot of variables involved. Great stream. You're very welcome. How do you deal with girls who constantly redirect the conversation to platonic topics on a date? Let them do it. If it's the first date, you let them do that. If they keep redirecting, what they're telling you is, I'm uncomfortable talking about this. You don't keep pushing it. You have to learn to calibrate your social skills here. If you're talking about sex and she goes back to a platonic topic, you talk about sex, she goes black. No. That's what she is signaling to you. This is making me uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about this. Then don't push it on a first date. I have had sex with many women where we didn't talk about sexual stuff on a first date. It's not required. It just helps. And it helps when they get into it. Any tips on touching base on a listen fitty? Wait for them to reach out, correct. Or wait a few months to touch base regularly and have feelers out. They always come back. You're right. It is. Okay. Yes, they always come back. So let me talk about how to do that. How to bring a woman back. I'm just going to summarize it really quick. She leaves you. This is assuming you've done all the cardinal rules and the 3 phases and you've done everything right. If you were monogamous, this will not work. You'll probably never see her again if you were monogamous because you've killed her attraction. Okay. She leaves, you wait at least 6 months before you initiate any contact. You are not allowed to initiate contact for 6 months. Minimum 4 if you push it. 6 is better. A year is better. The longer, the better. Okay? If she responds, if she initiates contact before 6 months, you can respond. That's all right. And then you can see what her status is. If you are after 6 months and you initiate contact, you say, hey, how's it going? That's it. Hey, how are you? You don't do a gamey text. You've already had sex, so you don't need to regame her again. Hey, how you doing? It's better to check on social media, make sure she does not have a new boyfriend. Not a boyfriend, a new boyfriend. If she has a new boyfriend, don't text her. Wait another 6 months or a year. Wait till you can confirm. Now, if you can't confirm it, then you just take a risk. Hey, how's it going? Have a brief back and forth. Talk about dating for a little bit. Get an idea for her dating scenario. If she is single or she has an old boyfriend that she's been seeing for a long time, you say, cool. And and you say, hey, why don't you come over? You want to come over Tuesday night? How about come over Tuesday night at 7? And odds are she'll say yes. Maybe 60% chance. Yeah. If she says no, you say, great, talk a little bit, and then you do it for another year. No contact for a year, and then do it again. If this says no, a year and a half. Okay. If she doesn't respond, you wait another year. That's how you do it. Or 50% of women come back to you. At least that's my experience is 50% text me. I just had someone text me this morning. Hey, how's it going? So you get a text. Hey, how's it going? That's woman language for I want to fuck you again. And that's what that means. That's how it works. In a nutshell. How do you go about traveling to from countries that don't allow dual citizenships while carrying more than 2 passports? There's cases of people losing their passports like that. Only if it's like really restrictive country like Singapore. It depends on the country. The vast majority of countries that have this do not enforce it. I've said this 10,000 times. I did a whole video at Sovereign CEO about this. The vast majority of countries say we don't allow, do not enforce it, do not care. There's a few that care, like Singapore. They care. There's a handful that care. If you're one of those, don't do that. In recent years, the shelf life of my FBs has been about a year, so whereas my past monogamous relationships lasted 4 to 7 years, it's difficult accepting the faster burn rate of non-mono. Okay. A, you're seeing multiple women. So if one leaves, you shouldn't care. If you have 3 FBs and one leaves, do you care? You have 2 other ones. So you're in a monogamous mindset here, number 1. Number 2, what's your return rate for a monogamous relationship? Probably 5 or 0%. Right? And what's your return rate for your FBs? It should be at least 40%. Right? 3, monogamous means you're a girlfriend. So you're comparing the equivalent of an OLTR to an FB. OLTRs rarely leave. All women eventually leave, okay? But OLTRs stay a long time. FBs don't stay very long because they're FBs. So you're comparing apples to oranges. Saudi Arabia, here I come. Have fun. Better grow that facial hair, convert to Islam, and walk around the Mecca thing 20 times. I'm going to Saudi probably December because I'm only an hour away. Any advanced tips on slowly bringing them into your world or things you wish you knew beforehand when first doing this if you could go back in time? Everything I just talked about. I didn't know anything I didn't know any of this stuff back in 2007 when I started doing this. I had no idea what to do. I was flying blind. Some pickup artist forums had some basic techniques on MLTR, some real basic stuff on like maintain your frame, but that's it. There was no system. So I wish I knew all this shit. But is there anything I wish I knew? Yeah, I wish I knew that getting to sex quickly with women over 33 takes longer. I would have drawn that line much sooner in the process because I spent years fighting this thing of trying to get to sex the second date, sometimes even the third date with women over 33 with their ASD. Ugh. Wish I knew that sooner. Yeah. Your 95% return rate is awesome. Mine is 9%. That's low. Maybe you're just getting started. What percent have come to visit you in Dubai? And how do you make sure they no leave you for a wealthy chic man? 0% have flown to Dubai since I moved to Dubai 3 years ago. I will see them when I visit their countries. Plus, women are not going to offer that because they know I'm married. They all know I'm married. They all know. They've seen pictures of Make Firefly. They're not going to say, hey, I can come see you. If I was single, different story. But I'm married. So there you go. LOL had the talk with one last night. It took a few days, but the vibe is totally chill and no pushback. That's exactly right. They'll be sad for 2 or 3 days, and they ask their girlfriends, and they come back, and everything's fine. That's exactly how it works. You're right. How do you get them to wear modestly when covering in an Alpha 2.0? What? Do you start with the hijab? Is ugly girl more success in covering? Thank you, sir. Okay. I think you're misunderstanding the entire concept of Alpha Male 2.0. The entire concept of Alpha Male 2.0 is you don't tell women what to do. It is the opposite of Andrew Tate. It is the opposite of the traditional Christian model, where you're the man, you're going to tell her what to do. That creates conflict and drama and arguments, and women in the modern day Western world are not going to put up with that shit. They're going to yell at you. Again, if you want to go to Saudi Arabia and convert to Islam, then you can boss women around all day, and they will still argue with you. I know people, Muslims here in Dubai with 4 wives wear burqas. They have all kinds of arguments and drama all the fucking time. So Alpha Male 2.0 is intelligent. She can wear whatever she wants. So the way it works in an Alpha Male 2.0 model, she dresses any way she wants. If you can't stand the way she dresses, you keep her at an FB. You don't date her. But you enjoy her body and wear a good condom. That's how it works. Just curious, when you research a topic, what specific resources do you use? I can't imagine you just Google it and that's it. When I do that, I get into a bunch of SJW left-wing stuff. Now I use ChatGPT, although that's left-wing too. I use ChatGPT now. It's great. That's what I use now. If you walk into a date and immediately realize she's not as attractive as her pictures, how do you end the date as quickly as possible without getting reported or banned on the app? Okay. You're worried about stuff that has never happened to me. I have never been banned or reported on any app, and I've been doing online dating. I mean, I was doing online dating consistently for 11 years? Never banned once because I'm nice to people. Be nice. There's no specific number of minutes. If you say, oh, boy, I got to go. Bye. She's like, well, what an asshole. So be nice. I've had that scenario, not often, but I've had the scenario where the woman is, the picture is like, oh, okay. How old was your fucking picture? I'm just nice. Be nice to people. I believe in being nice to people. So I'm nice. I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Try to enjoy yourself. Ask some questions. Maybe learn something interesting. And then wrap it up. There's no specific time frame. It doesn't need to be an hour. 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. Be nice. How soon after sex with an FB do you have a shower to prevent STDs? So what I do, my model is as soon as I have sex with anyone who is not my wife, I immediately take a shower, either immediately or as soon as I get home. That's just my model. It helps not STDs specifically. It can help STDs. It really helps bacterial infections. I don't get STDs, but I haven't had one in many years. But years ago, I got bacterial infections, like the male version of UTIs. One's called epididymitis. Oh my God, I had that like 3 times in a row. It's bacterial infections that you get from sex, even if you wear a condom. So that helps that too. Whenever I can, as soon as I can. You said to talk about sex the first date. So far, I've told. Okay, you answer that question. I answer that question. Let's see. I suspect I beta eyes myself. Don't do that. A bit prior to illicit infinity from a VYW like 3 years ago. VYW, you guys didn't know, are women under the age of 24. Been no contact since. If I try to resurrect her now, how do I show that I alphaed up from the past and get her to come over? You can't. You can't. You just do what I said, and your odds are lower, and that's all you can do. You can't demonstrate over text that I'm alpha now. You can't. Your odds are low, maybe 10%. You give it a shot. Doesn't work, doesn't work. Whose material would be a good supplement to yours for a pickup artist? Pickup artist, first date, skill improvements for an older guy. I can't think of it when calibrated older men. You need to get my book, The Ultimate Younger Woman Manual. If you're an older guy, if you like younger girls, that's the book you need to get. And I have a course too, I think. Do I have a course on this? Yes, I have so many courses. You need to get that. I can't think of anyone on top man who's good at older man game. That's a very limited market. Because most older guys are married or, living with someone on their 3rd marriage and that kind of crap. This is life-saving shit, Caleb. I agree. TY, my QOL is so much better since incorporating this into my location-dependent life. What's QOL? Quality of life? Cool. It's great. That's awesome. You say if it's not made of latex, it's not really a condom. It should not be considered an effective form of birth control. Incorrect. If it's not made of latex, it is effective to prevent birth control. It is not effective for STDs. So it's not latex. STDs can pass through that thing. Sperm are very big. Microscopically, sperm are huge. But like the AIDS virus is tiny, or HIV. So it's good. There are some condoms that are good for protecting against pregnancy, but not STDs. That's what I said. What about skin original condoms? They are poly latex free, polys. No. Those are okay. Those are all right. Those are fine. Lock-in doesn't seem to work for me. Often girls will turn off after having sex 2 or 3 times. Too much player. I don't do fancy dates. Yeah, too much player. Players don't do fancy dates, right? You're too much player. You need to ramp up the beta male provider about 15%. Too much player. We just have sex at my house and then we talk a bit and after that, too much player. Too much player, integrate. What I talk about for the best frame for this model is 85-15. 85% beta male pussy provider, 85% player alpha male. If you do 100% player alpha male, this is what happens. You'll get a lot of pussy once, twice, 3 times if you're at best, and they're gone. You'll see them again. That's the player problem. If you're swapped, if you're a beta male pussy, you'll have to talk to a woman for 6 months to get sex once. So you don't want to be 100% provider either. 15, 18. That's what you want. Can you please do more deep dive podcasts specifically how to game girls? Yes, I will do that. I have been shortchanging Alpha 2.0 content, and yes, I have stuff coming. Yes. Did you and Roger Allen Curry debate not disclosing what the relationship is? Yes, we did. Go watch. I did a podcast on his podcast. I think it's on the internet still. We went 4 hours long. We had such a good time with each other. We talked for 4 hours, and his podcast software cut it off at 4 hours. He cut me off. Not he did, his software did. Because usually his podcasts were 2 hours. We went 4 hours talking about this shit. Oh, yeah, we disagreed a lot. And we agreed a lot. We had a really good conversation. I should go find that somewhere. It was a really good talk. He was more about not disclosing the relationship, but disclosing sex. That was his thing. Is it a good idea to use vibrator first time you have sex with him? Sure. It might take her to think you're too much player, and it might make her think you're too much player and not see you again, but it's hard to make women come without a vibrator. Okay, all that is incorrect. So, is it okay to use a woman on a vibrator on a woman the first time you have sex with her? Yes, that's perfectly fine. Make her come. I don't care how. She's not going to say, oh, he's using a vibrator on his finger. He's a player. No, you're overthinking it. But you are wrong. It is not hard to make women come without a vibrator. I've done it 10,000 fucking times. It is easier with a vibrator, yes. If you're lazy and you want to cheat, that's okay. It's fine. It's all right. And no, she's not going to suddenly not see you again because you had a vibrator. Women like vibrator. You kidding? My biggest difficulty with this model is to respect all cardinal rules at all times. I like going to a hotel somewhere for a night, for example. That's within the model. You can go to a hotel for a night with an MLTR, not an FB. That's fine. Do you always 100% respect or make exceptions? If you make exceptions, it won't work. Correct. I have to respect all of them. Correct. And if you don't like it, when you upgrade to LLTR, you have less of these rules. But what you just said, you can take a MLTR to a hotel. That's fine. One night, it's fine. Not a trip, but a hotel, it's fine. After first time sex, how long do you spend hanging out after talking sex? Anything I should do is probably just talk in bed. No, that's okay. Depends on how long the date was before that. Because if it's a second date, you probably talked for a while or went out. So you talk as long as she's comfortable. The first time you have sex, as long as she's comfortable. There's no time limit on the second date when you have sex. Because if you boot her right out of there, what is she going to think? Oh, wow, player, fuck this guy. Right? So you got to be nice. What steps do you take to arrange to meet an FB? Do you tell the FB how long you want to meet with her and ahead of time? That's up to you. I do, but that's my frame. My frame is very busy businessman who's married. So I have to tell women, look, I can't spend all day with you. Okay. I don't say 1 hour and then I have to go. I don't say that either. So it depends. Most guys don't. But if you're worried about it, tell her, like, look, let's hang out at 11 a.m. because sometimes you can do that. I got an appointment at 1 or whatever. Okay, whatever. Tell her whatever. But your frame should do that for you. Part of my frame is I run 3 companies. I'm super fucking busy and a lot of free time. That's with MLTRs too, before Pig Fire. All women in my life, including my wife. I'm fucking busy. I can't sit here and talk to you for 6 hours. I got shit to do. That's my frame. If that's not your frame, figure it out. What's the best dating apps to use in North America to pay for premium? Unfortunately, Twitter is the best one. That's the better. That is still the number one right now. Unfortunately, I wish Twitter would go away, but it has. How do you follow the cardinal rules in doing social circle game? The cardinal rules don't apply to game. They apply to relationship management. Game is when you're having sex with new women. Social circle game is about having sex with new girls. The cardinal rules do not apply to that. That is game. That's first date, second date, get to sex quickly. That's a whole separate model. Ever have trouble with FBs, other men, boyfriends? I've been doing this for a long time. So I've had that scenario a long time ago, not lately. Yeah, way back in the day, one or two scenarios, they were minor. Like these young girls, man, this is my favorite. The young girls will use their phone doesn't work, or they can't afford their cell phone bill, or they break their phone. So they use their boyfriend's phone to text you to hook up, to set up meets, and they forget to delete the text. The boyfriend's like, what the fuck? I've had that happen. Okay. Or they use your phone to call the boyfriend's phone to call you, and the boyfriend says, whose number's this? God damn it. And he figures it out. The worst I've ever had was an angry boyfriend left me a voicemail. And I listened to it for 3 seconds and deleted it. He's like, look, man, I just want to know one thing, okay? Just call me back, okay? Just be a click. I don't care. That's it. By the way, I have no sympathy for you, Ben. You don't expect monogamy from young girls. You're just stupid. You expect monogamy from a Western girl who's under the age of 24. You're a moron. When you're inviting an FB over, do you specifically say, come over and we'll have sex? No, don't do that. Well, if you've been seeing her a long time, you could say something like that, but it's expected. But no, you don't verbalize that stuff. No, they know. When you have sex with a girl once, then text, when are you free to get together again? The next day, but she doesn't respond. Should you double text her? If so, when? What should you say? So I don't say that. I don't say, when are you free again? That's a little needy. So here's what I do is, this is after the first date, right? When you text her, okay, yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about after the first date. Tell me if that's not the case. If it's after the first date, the next day you're like, hey, how's it going? You just have a conversation back and forth, and then you say, hey. You don't say, when are you free again? Because that implies, what does that imply? I have all this time. Give me a time and I'll make it work. You say again, hey, we should hang out again. How about Tuesday around 7 or like Saturday afternoon? That's much better. Should you ask, was there a specific thing I did that made you decide against seeing me again or get feedback? I've talked about this. I have talked about this. What you can do if the woman before you have sex with her, before you get to lock in, she's like, I don't want to see you again. And she actually says it. Hey, look, sorry, I'm not interested. If you know she's gone, she's out of your life. That's it. You know for a fact. Yes, it doesn't hurt because she's already gone. So here's you. I've done this a few times with a few women historically. I don't do this now. I don't care. You say this. You say, hey, perfectly fine. Totally understand. Thank you for your honesty. I really appreciate that. This is what you're texting. I want to be a better man. So could you do me a favor? Was there something specific I said or did that turned you off or rubbed you the wrong way? That's how you say it. And you'll get answers. Sometimes women are like, oh, yeah, what you said was this. Yeah. Or sometimes you'll get anger. Well, you were fine till you did that. Well, mental note. Okay. And I did learn a few things, right? One girl got mad because I told a joke about AIDS. Oh, no, I didn't take a joke about AIDS. That's not right. I told her about a scenario where I talked to a doctor. This is true. And he was quoting correct facts. Doctors will tell you this behind closed doors. And they'll say, look, don't quote me on this because I'd lose my license. But this is the reality. I was talking to doctors about STDs, the possibility, statistical probability of getting STDs. I've written a blog articles about this. Doctors will tell you behind closed doors, in private, Caleb, you could have sex with 300 women without a condom in a Western city. You will not get AIDS. You're not going to get AIDS. You're not. It's not a risk. Now, You'll get other shit. You could get chlamydia. You might get herpes, but you're not going to get AIDS. You're not. You're just not. Heterosexual man, have you sexual sex with a woman in a West? You're not. And I told her that. And she got all offended. I didn't know until I asked her that question. Well, you said the thing about AIDS. Oh, okay. So I don't talk about that anymore on first dates. Caleb, you might like this quote from Vinicius de Morales. I don't know how to say it. Who wrote the song "The Girl from Implicit"? I don't know how to pronounce these words. He was married 7 times. Jesus. He once said, "Love is eternal for as long as it lasts." Love is eternal for as long as it lasts. Right. I had a guy who was debating years ago about monogamy, and he finally just broke down and admitted, he goes, all I know is he was very pro-monogamy pickup artist guy. His quote was, all I know, monogamy works until it doesn't. Exactly. Can we have first dates at Starbucks or places like this? I have done hundreds of first dates at Starbucks. Yes, that's fine. That's perfectly fine, especially if she's younger. You bet. On Swipe app, should we swipe on every woman or only ones we find attractive? You can do every woman, but you can't do that all the time. So the algorithm will start figuring out you're doing that and start punishing you. So if you do every woman, you could do that, but then you got to wait a few days and then go back and log out. Don't touch Twitter for like 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Then go back and do it again. If you're doing this every fucking day, it's going to murder you in the algorithm. Decent amount of time when I invite girls over for the second time, or sometimes after we get to lock in, I get the question, what would we do? What do you have in mind? How do you answer? Okay, these are higher ASD girls or they're over 33. Are these women over 33? Hang out and talk. Don't say Netflix and chill. Don't say that. Hang out and talk. Show you my place. Another thing you can do is you come up with a dumb reason. And this works. This is going to sound silly, but this works. Women just need an excuse to satisfy their own ASD. I want to show you my fish tank. I'm not kidding. Okay. Now she has a reason to go over to your house, right? I want to show you the mask that I bought in Africa. Come up with something stupid. We can play Uno. It doesn't matter. She just needs a reason to satisfy her own internal ASD to make it okay to go to your house. Well, and she tells her friend later, you fucked him? Well, we just went over to play Uno. This is how women work. So that's it. Love is eternal for as long as it lasts. Oh. I've only been in love 4 times. I've been with a lot of women over the course of my life. I've only been in love 4 times. I don't fall in love very quickly. Some guys love every woman they have sex with. One in love 4 times. And you could argue that 2 of them weren't real love. So maybe I've been in love twice. So, yeah. Is it okay to have a single mom as a low-end MLTR? You can have a single mom as anything. That's up to you. There's no requirements for that. You can have a single mom as a high-end MLTR or even OLTR if you want. I don't recommend it, but you can. It's allowed. Disadvantages of doing this: should single moms be kept as SPs only? No, I have had serious relationships with some single moms, not OLTR. So no, that's fine. The only disadvantage when you get to OLTR, do you want to be a stepdad? Now, in my first marriage, when I was a beta male, I was a stepdad. But even back then, my son Josh, but even back then when I was a young, stupid beta male, I told the woman who was going to marry, I was going to marry, my first wife, I said, look, if his biological father is anywhere in the picture, I'm out. I'm not going to go through this. It's hard enough to be a stepdad. I knew this even as a fucking dumbass 25-year-old guy. I'm not going to go through that. I see other men go through that. I'm not going to go through that arguments and bullshit and weirdness. So I'll be a stepdad, but his biological has to have nothing to do with this. And she already look, he is not in my life. He lives in another state. I don't get child support. And so that's why I agreed to it. But even then it was hard. One of the reasons that marriage failed, stepkids is really hard. So it is allowed for high-end MLTRs, serious MLTRs, OLTR. It's allowed. Do you want to be a stepdad? And every guy's going to make their own decision on that. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you can do it. I've complimented women plenty of times, not all, and not have issues. Usually I call them adorable and or cute, but never go overboard this, in my opinion. Is it still not recommended? Yes, it is still not recommended. Now, you're not saying, wow, you're hot. And adorable could be a backhanded compliment. That's why it's probably not working against you. But again, you guys who do this stuff, who violate the rules, I want you to track the number of times you've done that. I have a feeling you've done it twice, and maybe you got lucky with those 2. Try it on 20 different women, and then tell me how many of those 20 you fuck. Then try it on another 20, and don't compliment them all. See how many of those you fuck. And you will be shocked to see the difference. Don't compliment before lock-in. After lock-in, do whatever you want. Pre-lock-in, don't compliment. Is the most efficient way to acquire the ladies online dating? Is there any info on this course for the initial acquisition phase? No, I have other courses for that. Go to alphamale20.com and click the store button. And those are all my courses and all my books. I have lots of stuff on that. Gettosexfast.com. Go to there. That'll help you with that stuff. This is about relationship management, this course. Is online dating the most efficient way to acquire women? Yes, it is the most time management efficient. It is not the best, because some guys prefer day game. There is no best or worst. There's online dating, night game, day game, and social circle game. They're all good depending on your personality and your age and your schedule. Online dating's advantage, there are some disadvantages online dating. What if she doesn't look like her pictures? That's the disadvantage. But the advantage is it's time management friendly, is most efficient, yes. How did you respond to women this morning who said, "How are you doing? Did you invite her over?" I did not want to see her. So I would just said, I'm busy. Nice to see you. I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to see that one. I can be very picky these days. So I didn't want to see her. Now, that being said, it is now October in Dubai. Okay. So what's the date here? It's early October, right? In about 2, 3, 4 weeks, all the hot girls from the UK and Russia and Ukraine and Germany and all the Instagram chicks, that's when they all start coming back to Dubai. So over the next several weeks, I'm going to start getting a bunch of those texts from random girls. Not random girls, exes. And some of them I will say, oh, this is when all, like November, that's when everyone comes back to Dubai because now the weather's getting good, right? And then they all leave around, March, April. Yeah, just how Dubai works. Caleb, in the open relationships manual, one of your podcasts, I don't recall, you mentioned to have sex. You mentioned to have your sex life and multi-women situation on point and build your lifestyle from there. Can you expand? No. So what I recommend to men is you pick business or women and you work on one first, not both at the same time. You might choose business first. Just get women minimally. Get that done, and then work on your women life. Or you might choose woman first, get that nailed, and then build your business. One or the other, do one first, and eventually do both. Alpha Male 2.0, you need both. You need a location-independent business you own and control, $85,000 a year, pre-tax. You've got to have that, location-independent, or you're not free. And then you need to have at least 2, preferably 3, women non-monogamously on rotation, FBs, MLTRs, or OLTR. You get those 2 things in place. Now you've joined the Alpha Male 2.0 club. What are your thoughts on AI photo shoot services? I think very soon anyone will be able to just an AI service to generate amazing photos of themselves instead of doing a real photo shoot. That's correct. I mean, they're almost there now. I think it's a great idea. And if you have a whole bunch of women showing up who don't look like that, then you're going to have to raise your numbers. That's all. I mean, they're doing it now. On the sugar daddy sites, they do that now. A lot of girls will do those fucking, it's not AI. Those apps that make you beautiful on the phone, those have been around for 3 or 4 years. And you'll see occasionally women who pull this shit. You see in real life, you're like, use one of those fucking apps to make you pretty on the fucking, you didn't look like that. So they're doing it now. So this is, hang on a second. A lot of red pill guys imply that communication is a bad strategy in ongoing relationships. What? I guess they mean to say less. What are your thoughts, experience with communication with women in long term? Well, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know if you're quoting them correctly. Yes, you do not want to have multiple long, drawn-out conversations about the relationship. That's true. Nothing will cause drama or kill attraction by talking about our relationship. So that's true. You don't want that. You absolutely can't do that with MLTRs or FBs. OLTR occasionally when there's a shift. So with Pink Firefly, when we moved to Dubai, there were some discussions about a relationship. Of course, because there's a transition. But that's the only time we do it. So I generally agree. Can you please take my wife to be your super FB? Well, if you don't like your wife, divorce her. And no, I could not have a super FB as someone else's wife. That wouldn't work. Someone's girlfriend would work, but not FB. Just want to reiterate to the guys how powerful simply not lying can be. Absolutely. Girls respect honesty far more than a guy caught sneaking around cheating. Here's the other thing about this, okay? Men are shocked constantly in this Alpha 2.0 world. When I bring new guys in this world, when I have new customers, new people who watch this content, and they try this stuff, men are shocked at what women will allow you to do. What men think is, I have to lie to her because she'll get mad at me and break up with me if I fuck someone else. I've been doing it for 16 years. No, they don't. They deal with it. Now, if a man is dating a woman and she's fucking other guys, that's a whole different scenario. I've talked about this. But we're not going to be dating men. We're dating chicks. Chicks understand that men are barbarians about this. They get it. They don't like it, but they get it. As long as you're respectful, high attraction, make her come a lot, don't act like a beta, men are shocked at what women will allow. I'm constantly saying that to new people in this material. You don't need to lie. I haven't lied to a woman. This is true. Okay, true statement. I've not lied to a woman in about 25 years, 23 years. The last time I lied to a woman was in my first marriage when I was a monogamous beta male. I think I did mention this a little while ago. She said, "Did you mow the lawn?" I said, "Yeah," and I haven't. This is like 2002. That is the last time I ever lied to someone, lied to a woman, lied to anybody, really. I don't lie. It's part of my code. Certainly don't lie to women. I don't need to. Lying is what beta males do. Lying is what needy men need to do because they're scared if I don't lie, then she'll leave me. If you have some fucking balls, you don't need to lie. The pussy says, "I'm not fucking other women. Oh, just you." That's what a pussy says. A real alpha male, are you having sex with other women? A real alpha male says, "Yes, I am." If that's a deal breaker, I understand. That's this whole model. Okay. That's something that, I would agree with Andrew Tate on. If you're a true alpha male, you don't lie about anything. You do whatever the fuck you want. She has a problem. She leaves. You go fuck someone else who's hotter and younger than her. Not a big deal. How to kick a woman out after sex the Alpha 2.0 way. You don't. So instead what you do is before sex, when she comes over, you set the expectation. Let's say she comes over at 9 p.m. That's when she comes over. And let's say you want her out of there by 11. You pre-plan this shit. You say, when you sit down and talk to her and you're having your wine or whatever, okay, when she's comfortable, you say, "Look, just so you know, if you have a watch," I don't have a watch, or you look at your phone, "Just so you know, I got to get up early tomorrow. So I have to kind of wrap this up by about 11 o'clock tonight. Wrap this up. Is that okay? Is that cool?" And she'll go, "Oh, sure." Now you can kick her out at 11 and there's no argument. But if you don't do that, and it's 10:50 and you're in bed, you just came into her, hopefully wearing a condom, and you go, "Okay, yeah, you got to go." She'll be like, "Fuck you." And they never see her again. Does this work? Who'd you recommend for day game advice? All my day game guys are old school guys that don't do a lot of stuff. Like Good Looking Loser stuff was great. Tom Torero, who has now passed away, his stuff was fantastic. They're all like old school guys. Those are the guys I like. Those are the best guys. Good Looking Loser isn't active anymore. He's out there, but he does other stuff. So you can find Tom Torero stuff or Good Looking Loser's older stuff. That's the best stuff for day game. Messed up the talk more than once, got Alpha 1.0-ish when they said they can't do non-mono and tried to talk them into it. Oh, no, that is not the talk. You don't try to talk them into anything. You fuck that up bad, yes. How do you keep cool with feeling all that work is going down the tubes? Well, if they said they can't do non-mono, I said this earlier. You know what that means? You fucked up phase 2. You didn't do all the Cardinal Rules. You did the talk too early. Your frame was off. You're acting like a boyfriend or a player. You did something. You did 2 or 3 things wrong. The talk should be easy. Not easy. It's sad to see a woman cry. But your success rate for the talk should be a very simple, obvious process. When you do phase 1 and phase 2 correctly. If the talk didn't work, you fucked up phase 2. Probably in several different ways. Just about every time I've talked to someone. "Oh, she got mad and didn't want to do it. And she said, 'fuck you.' And Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? No, no. Yeah, I did that. I knew that. Okay, well, yeah, fucked it up. If you don't mind sharing, how do you know you caught epididymitis? Oh, I can tell you. Was there a consistent symptom? Oh, yeah. I go for an STD test annually, but I'm not sure it would pick up epididymitis. Epididymitis is not an STD. Epididymitis is not an STD. It is a bacterial infection. There are STDs and there are bacterial infections. They are completely different things. They have nothing to do with each other. They are sex related. So it's nothing to do with it. Okay. That's why you can get bacterial infections while wearing a condom. You can't get chlamydia while wearing a condom. It's not possible unless there's a hole in the condom. Okay. Yes. How did I find out? Oh, yeah. My balls hurt. One ball hurt. And one time I had it, the one ball started to swell up and get red and it felt warm and it hurt. I was still functional. I could still pee and have sex. It's just like I looked a little funny. So you had to take antibiotics and went away. It's not big deal. You just take antibiotics to go away. So yeah, I definitely knew. I had to have an ultrasound on my balls. It was awesome. This cute girl was like 20, 25, doing an ultrasound on my balls. Like, here you go. That's great. Those are the days. How do you get used to condoms after having a bad habit of raw dogging it for years? You just have to get used to it. So here's what I recommend for you guys. Get your favorite FB or MLTR and start having fuck sports sessions. She comes over your place and you have sex 2 or 3 times if you can. Maybe you don't come. And you do that a lot to get your brain used to that shit again. Also experiment with different condoms that feel the best. I use I might switch though. For years I've used Trojan Ecstasy. They're the more expensive ones. They're like $1 each. Not Trojan condoms, Ecstasy. They're the expensive ones. They're tighter at the base, and there's a lot of loose stuff at the end. Okay. Put a little drip of lube in the condom before you put it on. Okay, that. So experiment with different condoms too, because there's a big difference in how condoms feel. Big difference. Typical condoms feel like shit. So that's a big problem. Is your fucking condoms probably suck. How do you keep FBs in other countries? Do you chat with them often and keep FB relationship warm? I have talked about that many times. That is a little off topic for this discussion. Basically, yes, every few weeks you have to kind of have a little text conversation with them. Yes, but that's a complicated topic. When you aren't interested in a woman when you aren't interested in a woman on a first date, what do you say to end it? So same thing I said earlier. Well, hang on. Do you directly say, I don't think we were a good match for each other and say nice meeting you and leave? I have never done that. No, I'm just very nice and I leave. I don't go for a second date. I don't text her back. That's what I do. Same deal. If you sit down and you immediately know, or you get a feel like I don't like this chick, you say, just to let you know, I have to go at 1:30. And you say, is that okay? Is that cool? I go, oh, sure, it's fine. That's it. Instead of at 1:30, gee, I gotta go. It's the same difference, same thing. Let's see. How does this course add to previous books such as Open Relationships and Open Marriage books? If you already have the Ultimate Open Relationships manual, it doesn't add much to that. You already have that book and know it well, unless you want a visual representation of that. I do cover some new stuff, but not much. If you have the Ultimate Open Marriage course, this is a perfect companion. You want this because that's a whole different thing. Because this course is about women you don't live with. The Open Marriage course is about women you live with. So this course is about women you don't live with. Don't live with. Okay. OLTR you don't live with. FBs MLTRs. Okay. Good question. Alan Forrest is on YouTube, is a friend of Tom Tamaro, and he's in his 50s, an English lawyer living in Poland, and he teaches day game in person at certain times of year. Cool. Do you still use Trojan XC condoms? Yes. I just talked about it. Better fit and feel, yes, but I find them to be really oily compared to the regular ones, at least the rib ones. But I want them oily. That's what I want. So yeah, there's some pretty good condoms they've invented since then. I'm going to try some new ones. They got some good ones here in Dubai, so I'm going to try some new ones. Alpha Male 2.0 seems to work well because it's all about sovereignty and extending it to women in your life. That is correct. That is why we have no drama from our women. The beta male and the alpha male 1.0 have nonstop drama and arguments and screaming and yelling and problems. We don't, because we don't tell women what to do. And if women are bitches, we don't date them. We leave because we have other women we can deal with. If you're hitting up to 50% of the women who listen to you, that's about right. Yeah. Do you concern yourself at all with feeding their ego by doing this like they are so special, or should it be a non-concern for you? What do you think the answer to that question is? You know the answer to that question. You're talking about being an alpha male 2.0. You know the answer to that question. My concern with adding women on Instagram is what if they message the other girls who like my photos? Let's say 6 girls liked my recent past, and those girls happen to also be dating me. These are fantasy problems that men make up that never experience. I was doing this hardcore on Facebook before I got off social media personally. Hardcore for years when Facebook was the thing and not Instagram. In like 11 years, 12 years of doing this hardcore, women commenting on my photos, liking my photos, seeing each other's comments. I had a grand total of 2 problems, 2 Facebook problems. And in both those Facebook problems, I still kept fucking those women. Don't worry about it. If you have about 400 Instagram followers, is that enough for when girls from online dating ask for my Instagram? Should I put more? Yeah, it's not enough. You want at least 1,000, 2,000. The younger girls expect to see 1,000 or 2 on there because a lot of young girls will have easily 1, 2, 3,000. They're not real friends, of course. So no, that's not enough. If that's the objective. Why do you bang women with boyfriends but avoid women with husbands? Oh, a whole different thing. It seems like either could cause trouble for the guy having fun with her. No, the statistical probability of real problems goes way up if she is married to a husband she lives with instead of just a guy she calls her boyfriends. The word boyfriend means has all kinds of meanings. It's everywhere from the man I love and been with for 10 years to a guy just started fucking 4 months ago or 3 weeks ago. Boyfriend doesn't mean anything. And there's less attachment with husband. That's a whole different thing. So yes, the odds are much higher. Now, I have been with married women, but not for at least, 10 years. It's been a long time. But I have been with married women. I've done it. But I'm like, I'm playing with fire here. No, I'm not going to do it. If you're going to get married or live with a woman but remain in the U.S., what state in the U.S. is least bad? You just do a Google search for, the ones like Utah, the religious ones, are least bad. You Google no-fault divorce states and don't use those, which is the vast majority of states. And again, as I talk about, the entire United States is moving to the left. Joe Biden almost won Texas in the last election. And people think Texas is conservative. No, it's fucking not. So in a few years, it's going to be, well, it may be there now. It may be a bad idea to get married in any state. But if you want to know, look at which states are not no-fault divorce states. There's probably a few left. And you better get a really good fucking prenup and spend real money on that thing. And make sure it's enforceable. And if the guy says, you got to say, I want an enforceable prenup. Is this enforceable if she challenges the court? If the attorney goes, well, don't do it. The wrong state or wrong attorney or both. You want to say, yes, this is enforceable. If she does this, it says this. If she does that, it says that. And they say, look, I can't guarantee anything, but yes, this thing is important. Yeah. I want a girlfriend, but I also want to travel around banging chicks. And without her, how long could you go without seeing her for any major problems? That is doable. I've done it with Pink Firefly, not on purpose, but just because of my international lifestyle. How long can you do it? Several weeks at a time. Sure. You can do it several weeks at a time. Make sure you contact your girlfriend a lot. I talk to Pink Firefly every day. Every day I talk to her. Her love language of the 5 love, her number 1 is time. So I talk to Pink Firefly every day. She may even be watching this. Actually, she's at work. Well, it's our lunch hour right now. She might be watching this every day. So, yeah, do it. Any tips or tricks for car hookups? Yes, make sure she is at least under the age of 24, or else she's going to get pissed. What do you do if you get banned on a dating app and don't know why, and there's no customer support to talk to a person and try to get reinstated? You can't do that. Here's what you do. Set up a new email address or use a new email address. Clear your cookies. If you have to, get a VPN app and sign up with a new email with a VPN and a clear cache. That's what you do. After first time sex, I will text a girl the next day with non-physical compliment and ask when she's free again. Again, I would not say, when are you free again? I told you that earlier, or I told someone that earlier. She doesn't respond, right? Don't do that. I already answered that question. Did you ask this earlier? How long to wait before texting her again? What should I say? Okay, stop doing that. Stop saying, when are you free again? You say, hey, how's it going? That's it. And see if she responds. If she responds, you have a conversation. Then you do what I said earlier. If she doesn't respond, you need to wait a day and then say, hey, how's it going? When doing Salt Daddy game, how do you ensure they aren't lying about their age? A Second Amendment advocate got taken down like that? Okay, that's a dumb question. I've been doing this for years. You say, show me your ID. And I've actually said this to women. I don't touch you if this is the United States or Canada. Other countries don't care. But if you live in the authoritarian, collapsing United States or cuckoo Canada, you say, I don't touch you until I see your driver's license. Oh, I left it at home. Well, and I can't touch you. I'm not touching you. And if it's sugar daddy, well, it's salt daddy, so you wouldn't say this. If it's sugar daddy, you say, well, you're not getting any money. Salt daddy, you say, look, I'm not going near you. We can sit and talk, and you stay over there. Look, I really am 19. Great. You let me know when you get your driver's license, and I want to see it. Not a picture of it. I want to see it in my hand. You have to do this. This is no joke, United States. And it's getting worse. Are you still in contact with the OLTR you had before Pink Firefly? That's HBM. Not right now. We have talked in the last few years, but it's been, I would say, I don't know, 3 years since I talked to her. I could go on my personal Facebook right now and say, hey, how's it going? And she'd be like, hey, how's it going? 2 or 3 years ago, she's like, you should meet my son. Because she had a kid with the new guy. It's been a while. I'm out of the country now, so I just don't care. I've converted my monogamous LTR into an OLTR, but haven't acted on it yet. That means you have not converted it. That means the conversion has not happened yet. You have to put your penis in another woman, and then your OLTR has to know you did it and be okay with it and stay with you. Then you've converted. All you've done is gotten verbal agreement. That doesn't mean shit. I'm only 27, though. Any advice? Yeah. My advice is go out and put your cock into someone right now. I've said this before. What men do is they'll get their girlfriends or wives to agree to it, and then they'll chicken shit out and they won't do it. And it makes their whole relationship 10 times worse. Because now she says, oh, wow, I gave him permission and he still didn't do it because he's such a pussy. Wow, talk about zero attraction. Hang on 1 second. I got to check something here. Shit. Another problem. All right. Deal with that later. All right. So that's my advice. Get your cock inside another woman right the fuck now. Don't wait another week or you're going to fuck yourself, and not in a good way. Is there a good way to fuck yourself? I don't think so. After first time sex, if she doesn't respond to your text, should you text her? Was there a specific... Okay, I answer that question. Was the 2004 Practical Female Psychology for the Practical Man by Franco W.S. an influential read early? No. And what were your thoughts on the information now? I agree with most of it. It was not influential at all, but I knew both those guys on the forums. They were my friends. JWS is a friend of mine, or was. I eventually kind of poked around it years later. Most of it was already on the forums. So, no, it was not influential. But I agree with it. Most of it. I need to be able to have FBs over when she's not home, though. Then you talk to her about it. I want to have FBs over. And you negotiate. She says, fuck you, no. You got to do what I did. Get an office, get a hotel room, use someone else's apartment, something else. You're not the stepdad. You're the dad that stepped up. It's up to you. All right. I'm the dad that stepped up. I definitely raised my son. That's true. Any advice on getting her to let you have FBs over when she's not home? You got to talk to her. You have that discussion. You should have had that discussion before you moved in. That was a long discussion, Pink Firefly, before we moved in. You just have a discussion with her. I know you can ask younger women for their I know you can ask younger women over 18 for their IDs, but how do you avoid it making weird? I have never had it be weird. I just ask. I just fucking tell them, sweetheart, if we get sexual and you're not the age you're saying, I go to fucking prison for the rest of my life. I'm a registered sex offender for the rest of my life. Nothing happens to you. I've never had it be weird. Outcome independent. Stop giving a shit. And it won't be weird. Is getting the odd lunch or hanging out outside of the bedroom acceptable with an FB acceptable? If you have an OLTR, no, it's not acceptable. The only exception to that rule is if you talk to your OLTR, she's totally cool with it. Some women, not most, a few women won't care. Oh, that's fine. Most of them are like, why do you want to have lunch with your FBs? It's not good. So the answer is no, it's not, unless she tells you. And the other question I ask is, why do you want to hang out with your FBs? If you have an OLTR you're in love with, why do you want to spend time with FBs like that? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Something's going on in your head. About the Cardinal Rules, how bad is breaking one or two of these lowering chances? We talk about 20 or 80%. Depends on which one and how long you're doing it. So, like one of them is only see her once a week. You see her 3 times a week for 3 months, you're fucked. Goodbye. If there's 1 week where you see her twice in 3 months, okay. So it depends on how much you're doing. Depends on degree. Does your daughter do all the artwork for your websites and title graphics? No. She only does the comic book, and that's all she does. James Tusk. James Tusk is a friend of mine. I know James. Is a younger man online, was trained by Tantra. Yeah, James Tusk is a bro. I love him to death. He's a good guy. I was just talking to him in Mexico about a month or two ago. For AI photo shoot service, my concern is every guy will use it. This kills the advantage we have in online dating space when following your open. Oh, no. So here's what will happen. If every guy uses it, women will find out very quickly every guy is using it, and now the playing field is level again. Women will find out if every guy starts using it, and every woman shows up on first dates, and they saw a gorgeous guy, and then they see a guy who's like a 5, and they keep doing this over and over and over and over again, and they tell other girlfriends, and they say, yeah, it's happened to me too. They'll find out really quick, and it'll level again. So I'm not worried about it. Would you pray to Allah to keep haram left-wing forces out of Dubai? No, I don't believe in Allah because that's false societal programming. If you're going to live with a woman in the U.S. but not get legally married, which state's the least bad? What to keep in mind? I don't know the answer to that question. Do some research. The ones that are more religious, less left-wing, the ones that are not on the east or west coast, the one in the middle of the country. Those are the least bad. Still bad, but least bad. I'm 5'9", ectomorph, and physically fit, yet I feel small in stature. To compensate, I tend to drift into alpha 1.0 cocky attitude. What self-talk would make me not be compelled to overdo the asshole routine? Well, some of it is okay. You're going overboard with it, right? Some of that's okay. Some of the cocky, some of that alpha male, some of it is good. What self-talk would you use? You know, I'll tell you this. I don't know what self-talk to use, but here's a true fact from my anecdotal experience when I was in high school, when I was a kid, when I was observing other people. Most guys who they call naturals are guys who, like, at age 12 are good with women. They're just naturally, it's their personality. They just automatically know what women like. And by the time they're 13, 14, 15, they're banging all the girls. I knew a few of these guys. Almost all these guys, these naturals who were banging all the girls in high school in my early 20s, almost all, if not maybe all of them, were shorter guys. I don't know why, but they were short. And they were not cocky, alpha male 1.0. They were just, confident and really good, really socially calibrated. And they were short. And they didn't have to, turn into asshole mode. They didn't have to turn into Andrew Tate to get laid. They didn't. So there you go. There's something. I was thinking of that this morning, actually. How do you handle logistics of dealing with multiple women? How do you optimize the process? Handling multiple women can be a nightmare. Right. So multiple means 2 or 3. When I say multiple women, guys go, oh my God, how do I do? I'm not going to date 12 girls. I'll just get monogamous. No one's saying 12 girls or 9 girls or 7 girls. I have done that many years ago. It was a nightmare. 2 or 3. Any guy can do 2 or 3. How do you handle it? Plan your stuff once a week. Once a week planning session. I do this every week. Every Monday or Sunday, I plan out my whole week and I put into my appointments. You put in the time you're going to spend with girl 1 and girl 2, or girl 1, girl 2, girl 3. Or maybe see girl 1 and girl 3 this week and girl 1 and girl 2 next week. You just plan it out. And you don't have to date 10,000 chicks. That's dumb. Unless you're a young guy with nothing to do. You're a young guy, you want to get laid, fine. Go date. Go have 3 MLTRs and 6 FBs. That's fine. I went through that phase briefly. After first-time sex, not the first 1-hour date, I will text her the next day. My God, if you ask that question again, I'm going to ban you, dude. AC, I wouldn't go out with FB. Oh, you're talking to someone else? Okay. When you're with an FB, how much time is talking? How much time is sex? That's a good question. It varies per woman. And Oh, let's see. I'll talk 20 minutes, maybe 25, and have sex for maybe 25 minutes. So 15 to 25 minutes talking and 25 minutes, that's what I do. That sounds about right. That's probably a rough average. I don't think there's a specific ideal period of time. That's just what I do. You might talk a little more. Talking's fine to an FB. Pink Firefly was an FB for a year. And her and I would talk for more than 25 minutes. We would talk. We'd talk and just, we got along. And then we have sex. Yeah. Works. What would you do if you hosted a meetup and one of your Alpha 2.0 disciples seduced Pink Firefly? That would be fine. If that's something she really wanted to do, I'd say, did you use a condom? Here's the thing. That'll never happen. It'll never happen. I can tell you reasons why it'll never happen. Pink Firefly wouldn't let that happen. Trust me. I'm still mostly night game. Seems like all the age, photo, etc. troubles are all created by online game. That's correct. That's the advantage of night game. You don't have to worry about that stuff. Disadvantage of night game is, guess what? You got to stay up late at night. The fact you're not more popular is insane. Thanks for the info. You're very welcome. All right. How are we doing on time? Ooh, I'm talking a long time here. So I'll answer a few more questions, and I got to go. Store.calebjones.com/date. This is the only place in the entire, I'm going to keep saying this. This is the only place in the entire world you can learn how to do this. And this is the cheapest it'll ever be. $300. If you just date 2 women at the same time who are cute, that's worth a lot more than $300. A lot more. I would have paid $10,000 for that information back, 20 years ago. Are you kidding? Holy shit. All right. Any more questions? Or should we wrap it up? We'll take a drink. You guys typing. Hang on. As an older man approaching younger women, you said going direct is a bad idea. That is correct. But if your friend Keith was advocating the opposite, is there middle ground approaches? Well, I mean, he wasn't going explicit though, right? He wasn't doing that. And so he was saying more about, if I remember what Keith was saying, plus, wait a second. Keith wasn't talking about like 19-year-old girls. He was talking about women younger than you, but not BYWs. I believe so. So I don't think he was talking about that, unless I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure not. Is there a middle ground? Well, I'm talking about what is the difference. So here's the deal. You're in your 40s, you're at the mall talking to a 19-year-old girl. I'm sorry, you have to be indirect. You have to. Now, if you're 46, you're talking to a woman who's 30, okay, maybe. I still wouldn't, but you could. It's possible. It's the difference, the extreme difference in age, in perceived age. That's what. Oh, more questions. Okay, hang on. At the end of an FB meetup, do you hug and kiss and say goodbye? I don't usually. But you can. You could. There's no rules against that. Have you ever had a serious MLTR or serious OLTR leave you? OLTR, never. MLTR, yes. I know you've had a previous OLTR. Did she end it or did you? I ended it. Well, wait a minute. Who ended it? Wait a minute. Who ended that? It was pretty mutual, but I know everyone says that. God, who is the one who actually ended it with HBM? I was already like mentally out, and she was mentally out. I don't remember. God damn. We went to Canada. She gave me drama, and that was the last. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. So I think I did. But I've had other women before her who I really liked who left. Yeah, and they came back 94% rate, including HBM. She came back too several times. So I don't care. Can someone who's a trans woman be an Alpha 2.0? Or would you let Alpha 2.1 to address that market segment? I would not. That's not a large enough segment. Love your content. You're very welcome. You are also very welcome. Thank you. When should I ask to see a woman's ID? Texting before the second date, on the second date before I start keno, right before it's about to have sex. Yeah, if you're following the 2-date, excuse me, I can't talk. Ooh, sounds like I'm going through puberty. Hang on a second. Second date, before you start touching her. I mean, literally, if she's 16 and you're 27, if you just touch her back sexually, you can go right to jail in the United States or Canada. I mean, it's dangerous shit. So yeah, second date. Before I would not even touch. I mean it. I don't even touch girls. I had a bad experience. I didn't get caught or anything. I had someone lie to me, 15 years ago. I went, oh my God. And so that was it for me. I'm like, every woman, I need to see fucking eye. I'm not touching you in the United States or Canada. If you live outside the United States, Canada, do whatever you want. No one cares because people aren't freaked out about this. They aren't puritanical like Americans and fucking Canadians. But yeah, you live in Canada, United States. You better check fucking ID, you guys. If they're young, and women, young girls lie about their. Oh my God, they probably lie more now than they used to. They used to lie a lot. It's bad, especially when they really like you. Oh fuck. And now you got. Not now, but for a while now, you got like 14, 15-year-old girls with big tits and big hips. The Courtney Stoddens. Shit. So don't fuck around, you guys. Where are my questions? Did I lose my place here? Hang on. A few more questions. I gotta go. If you say it was mutual, it was her. That's the rule. Just messing around. She might have. It might have been her. I might have said, oh, fuck this shit. Oh, my God. And then she just stopped seeing me. That might have happened. It might have been her. I don't remember, honestly. I really don't. If it was her, I was like, whatever. It might have been her. I don't remember. I don't know. I should, when we talk, I say, hey, did you break up with me? Who broke up? She would say her, though, wouldn't she? What's the ideal number of roster one should have? How many women are there in roster right now? Generally speaking, 25 is a goal you should strike for. 25 is a real good goal. That's a nice self-sustaining number. How many women are there in roster right now? That's a complicated question because I have women in different countries, and I left the country where I built my roster. So my roster in the United States used to be huge. Now it's smaller. It's still I still have plenty of women there. I just did a video. Go watch the video I did. Alpha Male 2 put out about a week ago about all my FBs around the world, and I give more numbers there. I think Keith was about being direct. I saw you and thought you looked nice. How young the women were, I don't think he said specifically. He did mention a 20-year-old in that. But, well, if he said 20-year-old, then he's right. Then if that's what he said, I don't think that's what he said. But if that's it, then yeah. I wouldn't do that. If I was 40s or 50s, I would not say that to a 20-year-old. I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do it. If you make a conscious effort to text your FBs to schedule a meet once a week, will they hang around longer before the first listen video, as opposed to waiting until they reach out and schedule? It depends. If you wait until they reach out, that's fine. But what if they reach out once a month? Then she's going to listen video pretty fast. So it depends on how often she reaches out to you. She reaches out to you. Did you see the Russell Brand stuff? Yes. For the past several years, I have watched the left-wing elites take right-wing or right-wing compatible like Russell Brand. He's not right-wing. He's very left. But, he's like, Scott Adams. Just pull them off the chessboard. In about 1 or 2 more years, you non-left-wingers will have no one left. Tim Pool will probably be next. He'll take him off the chessboard. Every person who gets popular on the right, Andrew Tate, Scott Adams, Russell Brand, they're just going to keep removing these people. Now they're going after Rumble. They may take out Rumble because of this Russell Brand stuff. You guys lost. The left is in charge. This is the way of the world. Leave the collapsing United States. This isn't an issue anymore. Pretty soon you're going to have nobody. The only person who might survive maybe is Ben Shapiro, because he's the only guy who has some emotional control and bring it back a little bit. He's the only one. Steven Crowder, all these guys are just going to get wiped out. Yep, he's just the next one. After you have sex for the first time, what is your procedure for saying goodbye? What do you say? Should you kiss her? There is no procedure. You just do whatever feels right. You can kiss her or not. That's fine. I don't. Give her a hug, maybe? Who would win in a fight, you or Peter Zion? I'm pretty sure I would kick his ass. He looks pretty beta in real life. But I could beat most men's asses, even though I'm 51. I'm a big guy. Are the 14 deep dive video lessons a new one? Yes, these are all new. Is it something you did a few years ago? These are brand new. I just did this a few months ago. I mean, I just recorded them a few weeks ago. This is brand new stuff. I said this earlier. I've never done this in my life. I remember you made some course about open relationships, open marriage. Right. I have another course on open marriage where you live with the woman. And say this again. This course is about when you don't live with the woman. The course I did a year or two ago is if you live with her. Totally different thing. If you have that course, this is a good companion, or vice versa. So no, this is a totally different course. And it's brand new. This is a brand new course. This is the first video course I've done in like 2 years. Brand new stuff. If a girl cancels a few times, then you have a first date with her. Do you still pay for both, or do you split due to her flakiness? If a girl cancels a few times and you have a first date, do you still pay for this? Do you still pay for both of you, or split your what? I don't understand. If a girl cancels a few times, then you have a first date with you. Okay. Do you still pay for both of you to split due to your flakiness? No, that's childish behavior. Why would I do that? No, that's silly. If it pissed you off, don't have it. Say, look, I'm done, and leave. Don't have the date with her. If that makes you that upset, why take the time to just leave? Do you think the age 23 wild girl phase will go higher as culture keeps changing? No, it's probably getting lower because Gen Z girls are not having sex. Gen Z people don't have sex. They barely have sex. The ones that have sex are the exceptions. The ones in my life are the exceptions. Millennials are having less sex than every generation has less sex. So no, it's probably going to reduce because those girls don't have sex. They're at home on their computers and they want to leave. That's that generation. Just got the lock with a girl last week, set up a date and time, and she said, I want to get dressed up and go somewhere. Is she over the age of 33? Tell me if she's over the age of 33 or not. That sounds like an over 33 thing. If she's a low on MLTR, possibly how to respond. That's up to you. If she's low on MLTR, you can do that. It's allowed. Don't go somewhere fancy, though. Take her to Applebee's. Would that be, do you go to see them or they come to see you? Either one is acceptable. Doesn't matter. If you go to see them, what is the maximum time you're willing to spend with the travel to see them? That's every man makes their own decision. My rule has always been 50 driving distance from my house for any woman. First dates, second dates, FBs, MLTRs. I will not drive more than 50 minutes. That's me. Make your own decision. Some guys will drive 2 hours. I think that's for pussies, but if you want to do that, fine. If you live in downtown a city, maybe it's 15 minutes. Depends on your scenario. So that's up to you. What are your thoughts on having an open relationship where only one partner is allowed to have sex with other people while the other partner remains monogamous? That will not work in the Western world unless they're being paid a lot of money. I've never seen that work in the Western world. The Western world, not Saudi Arabia, the Western world, more than 9 months. So if you want a long-term relationship, you're going to have to let her have the option of fucking other guys. If she's older, she won't. If she's 19, she will, but she will anyway if she's 19 in the Western world. That's the answer to that. I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't want them to fuck other guys. I just want them to fuck me. Will not work in the Western world more than a few months. Every time that happens, every time, you get the girl to, first she won't agree to it. She'll say, fuck you. If you somehow get her to agree to it, within a few months, she will fuck someone else to make it fair. Whereas if you just said you can if you want, then she probably wouldn't have fucked anybody. Women want the option. They don't want to do it. Women are not like men. Women don't want to go bang a bunch of dudes. I've said this many times. If you have a monogamous couple and you tell the man, the woman tells the man, you can go fuck women now, he'd be like, awesome. He would go do it. Or he'd want to. Reverse it. The man tells the woman, you can go fuck other guys. She'd be like, what? I don't want to fuck other guys. Women are not like men. You are very welcome. Thank you very much. A few more questions. I keep going longer and longer. I'll wrap this up in 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Even if I don't get to all the questions. I've been answering questions a long time. What would you do if you visited the White House and Biden tried to touch your shoulders and sniff you? Yeah, you're funny. What do you think of Andrew Tate's fate? He is still talking a lot of typical Alpha 1.0 style, yes, and still pissed off Lol, but him going God mode would potentially save him from getting in trouble. If he stopped talking, I've said this, if he shuts up and if he learns how to say, if he learns what not to say, he'd be fine. The question is, will he do that? He doesn't want to. He's like, fuck you, I'm Andrew Tate, I can say whatever I want. Okay. Then he'll go to jail again or he'll get killed by the mafia. One of the two. By the mafia, in quotes. So I have not changed my opinion on that. Have you dated any tall chicks over 5'9"? Fuck yeah. I did a 19-year-old with 6'1" once. Fuck yes. Applebee's is fancy to most American girls. You said after the second lay, she won't leave. You said after the second lay, she won't leave? Oh, right. But she left me on date 3 when I showed her the anal beads. Why? Okay, no more questions from you. You're funny. That's great. What do you think of Andrew? Okay, you already asked that question. All right, one more question. I got to go. So Epi and women in general tend to know things without you saying it out loud. Yes, absolutely. All women know this. Yes. For example, he invited me over for a short time, so he's planning on sex. Yes. That's why she might say, well, what are we going to do? I'm going to show you my fish tank. Then she'll get, oh, okay. She knows you're going to go over there to fuck. But now she has a reason, an out. She has a reason to, what's they call it? There's a word for that. Not MO. What's the word for that? She had a reason that she can state for, oh, there's a word for, I forgot. All right, guys, I got to go. Store.calebjones.com/date. Cool? Cool. You have until Friday night to get that price. First online course I've done in many years. And I've never done this before. This is a brand new course. I have never done a course in this material my entire life. And I'll say it one last time before I go. This is the only plausible deniability. Thank you. That was it. This is the only place in the entire internet you can get this information. You cannot get this information from anyone else because no one else teaches this except me. I wish that wasn't true, but it is. Cool? Cool. All right. Have fun, guys.